Hey there, shitheads. What's up? You know what? Hannibal and Monty are adding to the ultimate comic book movie list. I am so excited I could just shit myself. Well, you know, I already have. See you soon. Bye.
Previously on
Hannibal and Monty Shit Show!
Just think about it. Nobody from Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel is now actively involved in rap beef, except for you, Nicholas.
This is an MFN production.
Yes, sir. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Same shit. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Cause ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody fucking with me. Nobody fucking with me. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Oh, I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Oh, nobody fucking with me. Nobody fucking with me. Nobody fucking with me. Nobody fucking with me. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Oh, I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Oh, nobody fucking with me. Nobody fucking with me. Nobody fucking with me. Fucking with me. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Same shit. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets. Cause ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Bridge to Captain Picard.
Go ahead.
We've just received word from the fleet. They've engaged the Borg.
Mr. Data, put Starfleet frequency 1486 on audio.
Aye, sir.
Stan is not a great Eminem song. No, I did not say Stan is not a great Eminem song. What did you say?
What happens when a masked producer and a headphone-wearing comic book artist get together to talk music shit, comic book shit, and political shit on the internet? Monty. Hannibal the Beat Animal.
Hannibal and Monty Shit Show!
Holy shit! My name gets to be in the title this time. Hannibal and Monty Shit Show.
Why is my name second? What kind of shit is this?
Hannibal and Monty Shit Show!
Let's talk some shit.
Get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together. Get your shit together.
And we are live. Are we live, Monty?
We are live as fuck.
That's what I like to hear. Welcome to Hannibal and Monty Shit Show. I am Hannibal the Beat Animal.
And I am Monty.
And this is episode 81. I'm about to say 81. Episode 81. Maybe an episode about...
Is this bean juice?
Or...
Human bean juice.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
All right. And just so you know, I for being, you know, as close to accurate as you guys were, I told Zoe to give plunger points to someone. Kilo, Penultima, and Hypothesis for being the closest to being accurate to our start time.
Yeah, and also I want to say this.
Time, so I just gave y'all all plunger points for it.
Yeah, I want to say this. Shout out to someone for watching, for coming in kind of late to the game, but going back and watching every single shit show to get to current. You are the fucking man. I'm going to miss your comments every day. Every day I look forward to, in the morning, reading comments from someone. You're the fucking man. Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
I would also like to add, thank you for waiting, everybody, while we were fashionably late. Well, at least some of us were fashionably late.
Look, see, Hannibal. This is what happens when we invite white people onto the show.
Look, they keep the Discord honest. I'm not mad at that, Monty.
Ryan, we're always late.
I'm usually early. I don't know. Monty just on some other shit.
Lies. That in the words of G-Man, that is a lie from the pit of hell.
Hey, Monty, don't go there, man. You're talking about being late, and your white woman was late.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. We just
talk that pregnancy shit, Ryan Palmer.
I know all about it.
Yes.
And I just had a little bundle of arguable joy recently. They like to cry.
I like the hesitation there. It's like it's a bundle of joy.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. And also, someone says he did it for the tech episode. That is coming in January. There will be a Tech 9 episode of the shit show in January.
Yes.
And y'all can all thank someone for it. Y'all have asked for it, and we haven't done it yet. But I told him in a reply to one of his comments, once you catch up to current, I'm putting it on the books. It's on the books. It's happening in January. We don't know who the guests are. We don't know who's going to be on. But Tech 9 episode's happening. And that's a lot of fucking albums.
Yes. We're gonna narrow it down soon. We're gonna try to figure out exactly how we're gonna pull this episode off. But I think if we just stick to his main discography and not like the collaborative albums, I think, you know, and I think we ought to do it like how we did the Eminem rules. Let the Eminem rules apply. Monty, are we supposed to hear you right now?
Yeah. Sorry. I was directing our producer. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were doing the worm just now. It was like you were just. I thought you was sending it to me, and then I was supposed to send it back to you.
Oh, we're gonna do the worm through all the screen?
Yeah. Let's do the worm on the screen.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Send it back.
And then wave it. I'm waving my arms, but my camera view doesn't. Just fucking look at my Christmas tree. My Christmas tree. That's my contribution to the wave.
There you go. Well, before we get any further, I will say, welcome, shitheads. Like, we already talked to someone. I like to single out one shithead when we start, but welcome all of you. Y'all are all important. I see 50 of you watching, 34 likes. Let's make that number match. Come on, hit the like button if you haven't hit it already.
Yeah,
let's do better.
Consensually massage the like button. We talked to her earlier, and she says she's with the shits tonight.
Yep. She's like,
isn't that the way it goes, though?
She's had 2 glasses of wine and does not have a headache. So
she's like Hannibal and Monty. Tell them to give it to me. Like, she wants all of it. And also,
Yeah.
before I get into the shit, we got a nickel chat before the show even started from Alan Reyes, and he said, "Martha Stewart, get your corpse of a face away. I'm trying to watch the shit show." There you go. So
I feel like Alan Reyes. I need more information. What is Martha Stewart doing right now?
yeah, like why is she in your face right now? We don't know. But that's okay. And sorry, my weird ass mouse is being weird as fuck. And it won't do what it just did. There we go. I'm trying to get to all the shit I need to tell you. But yeah, that being said, if you like this shit, if you wanted to catch the pre-show, which was probably the most awesome Hannibal and Monty shit show pre-show ever, that probably about half of you missed.
I concur.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a good time.
Yeah, about half
That's
of you
good time,
missed
man.
it. If you want to see that shit, patreon.com/5H1T. For as little as $2 a month, you can watch all the pre-shows. That's we guarantee 4 pre-shows a week. We don't guarantee how long a month, not a week. We don't guarantee how long they'll be, because sometimes shit fucks up. Pre-show is where we get the shit together. But once we get going, we get into some shit, and it ends up being fun. This time, both guests showed up on the pre-show. It ended up being awesome.
Yeah, that was a fun pre-show.
Yeah,
we let it all hang out, and I'm on par to have enough to drink to ruin the main show. So you guys should have got the pre-show.
I've been drunker than you can get on this main show. And
yeah, but you're like New Orleans drunk is different from a northern drunk. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like like our kidneys or livers, whichever one processes alcohol,
livers.
There you go. See, he knows what he drinks so much. He knows which body part to replace out.
Yeah.
In case
I know which body part to pay attention to. I'm like, all right.
He's like some kind of weird amoeba. Like he passes all the toxins into one body part and then detaches it. Is that that thing?
I wake up in the morning and I'm like, liver, how you doing today? You all right? You all right? You good?
Talk to your liver and tell
good?
it what to do.
Yeah. No, I just ask it if it's good. I'm like, bro, you good today?
That's actually an awesome superpower if you think about it. Like if you had somebody who's like their body breaks down a body part and then their body just gets rid of the part and it makes a new one.
You could win any drinking game. Like I'm confident that I'm not going to ruin the show tonight unless someone challenges me to a drinking game where every time Monty gives a questionable comic book opinion I have to drink. Then like I'm gonna get destroyed. My kids are gonna have to carry me to bed. It's gonna be embarrassing.
No, you're good. Don't like we're not gonna be talking about Dark Knight tonight. So you don't got to worry about Monty doing that one.
I get hammered and crash.
Yeah, look,
and smash the Christmas tree.
Hannibals waiting for the Dark Knight episode because he feels like the Dark Knight episode is going to be the other part to the me and Hannibal Stan episode.
I stole $3,000.
And it might be because, as I was telling Doug while the intros were running, Hannibal always frames my opinion in the wrong way. But we're not going to get into it right now.
Don't get into it. Actually,
he always frames it with logic and accuracy.
No.
It's so wrong.
See, and like I said, Hannibal.
You know what? You know what, Monty? I'm impeaching you from the show. I'm impeaching you from the show.
Hannibal,
which means that you still technically have a job, okay, for at least another year. You know what I'm saying? But you are impeached.
Yeah, Hannibal. Fox News is my argument every time.
Instantly, I have to wonder if it's Republicans impeaching him or Democrats impeaching him right now. Because
you right?
Is he going to go or not? Like,
look,
is
I
he
don't
really
even got to look to know that one.
Yeah.
Who's your buddy said, hey, I know you guys are busy slaying pussy with the pork sword and drawing and driving around ungrateful assholes, but have you watched Astronomy Club yet? Because it's amazing.
Incredible.
Incredible. I mean, honestly, give that guy some plunger points. That was very articulate.
See,
I enjoyed that. That was
Zoe's writing it down already.
Was it that articulate, or was it the way Hannibal read it? Well, I think it was both.
I'm only as good as the source material that I'm.
So,
If I've learned nothing from Morgan Freeman, whom I am constantly compared by, to white people. Like, white people always tell me I sound like Morgan Freeman. I'm like, y'all don't know what other black people sound like.
Yep.
All right. I don't sound like
I
Morgan
stole
Freeman.
$3,000.
However, I will take the compliment. Lord Jamarcus also said, "Is Subscribe-Star ever gonna be a thing, Monty?"
Listen,
and I agree with him. Is Subscribe-Star ever gonna be a thing,
Lord
Monty?
Jamarcus? Subscribe-Star is a thing. I have not set up the tiers because I need to adjust the Patreon tiers. So join at any tier on Subscribe-Star. Our Subscribe-Star is there and ready.
Also, I wanted to mention, don't feel bad because you don't sound like it. You can narrate my North Star anytime, Hannibal.
Listen, I'm for real.
I'd rather have you
take me
narrate
some voice acting classes so that way I can just really just like find another way to monetize. This, as all the gay guys in Atlanta tell me, this golden throat I have. So,
yeah, no, don't worry about that. No, you can narrate.
Is that what they call it? They call it a golden throat, Hannibal?
It's super weird that they call me that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Kilo also sent us some money. He says, Stickman, this show is lit. Stickman, it's the shit. Stickman, we can't quit. Stickman, white bitches on Monty's dick. Neighbors with attitude. Stickman remix off of their new album, Straight Outta Carrollton.
He was spitting it right there.
Yeah,
he was spitting it right on you.
That's all. You know what? For the Golden Turds, that will have to become a song.
No, that doesn't have to. Anyway, as I was saying, if you want to follow us on Facebook,
thank you for the content. I will make sure you get the proper writer's credit that you deserve on this.
But anyway, if you want to follow us on Twitch, where you'll hear us say things like "Nugget, please," while we play Minecraft, as y'all want us to play. We're currently setting that up. Me and Hannibal will try Minecraft for the first time and be
frustrated.
Yeah, frustrated, trying to figure out what the fuck y'all like about it.
So you're making a pledge to be bored. That's great. And we're just getting started, by the way. This is the pre-show, pre-real show.
Yeah.
Just so you all know.
Be sure to subscribe to our Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/5h1t_show. And if you want to follow us on Facebook, we post shit every day on Facebook. Facebook.com/Hannibal and Monty. Instagram, 5h1t show, which is the same as our Twitter. Snapchat is show_5h1t. And please join in on Discord, because Discord is fun. The link's in the description. There's always fun conversations. They keep going to Monty and white women lately. But we got to change that, people on Discord. Like, that can't be the only topic. And I
can think of one way you could change it, Monty.
Shut up, Hannibal. There's also, every day, I have been, since October, every day I am drawing one villain a day for 365s for a solid year. One villain a day for 365 days of the year. So
365 villains?
Yes. And I just hit number 72 today. So you can go in and you can add villains and you can see those cards, because that's the only place I post them. Every once in a while I post them on my personal Twitter. But, that's the thing. And also, check our Amazon wish list. Hannibal just got a new mask that he doesn't know about yet that I have to ship to him. It's in your box. Once the box is full, I'm going to tape it up and ship it. But yeah, if you want to send us shit, check the Amazon wish list, because it's full of masks for Hannibal right now from his birthday episode. I haven't adjusted it. So buy more masks. Support.
Yeah, look, the more masks I have, the better, okay? Because I only have like 75 masks right now, okay?
Only.
It's like it's not enough masks, okay?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Can we at least get me to 100 masks? You know what mask I don't have anymore that I used to have?
What's that?
I used to have a Rorschach mask that was it was heat activated, so as you would talk, the ink blots on the face would move around.
All right.
Now, when you looked at yourself in the mirror, would you see another mask, or would you?
Yeah, I mean, look.
What did you see? What did you see when you looked at the Rorschach mask?
Oh yeah, all I just saw is like, you know, beautiful butterflies and lovely clouds. That's all I saw.
Oh, nice.
See,
It's just
there
like
you go.
my dreams last night. Perfect.
Yeah. And if you want to just send us shit,
Yeah,
send it to
send us
P.O.
shit.
Box 13013, New Orleans, Louisiana 70185. That's our P.O. Box.
I'll take some shit too if you want to send it.
Yeah.
Send it to Monty and he'll send it to me.
Yeah, if you send some shit for Ryan Palmer, I'll get it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got
Feel
his back.
free. You don't have to. I mean,
Research
it's
and
just,
Development
you know.
just sent us a text that says, Monty, you can shut the fuck up about Superman.
He did not just say that.
He was starting some shit up.
I'm
What's going
looking
on
at
with
the
is
message
this?
came in at 9:55 p.m. So he sent that 10 minutes ago.
Well, you tell Research and Development.
You tell Research and Development. You the one that's hating on the greatest superhero of all time.
I have not hated on Superman this episode. Research and Development, in the words of the great modern poet Kendrick Lamar, be humble, little bitch. Sit down.
Hey, I've got a beef with Superman a little bit too. Now he's a great superhero. Don't get me wrong.
Ryan Palmer.
But
Ryan Palmer.
$3,000.
Be careful.
No.
Be careful.
No. He's a great superhero.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. But everybody who's ever watched anything or seen any comic from Superman, you have to agree, Superman can't fight. Okay, he can't fight.
Yeah,
he can't.
He is extremely strong, but look at the guy's tactic. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He is a blunt instrument, isn't he?
Superman's the
It's not
definition of OP. He's overpowered.
Yeah, he is all power and he doesn't really have the technique. You notice that? It's in the design. I mean, it's there. Look at everything that is ever released from Superman. He is a battering ram.
Yep.
But he is not like considered he's not a technical fighter. He's not a methodical fighter. He is a
He is not the Swiss Army knife that is Batman.
No.
You know,
Yeah,
he is not the master of kung fu. You know, he is a hammer. He was like, oh man, I need to pound this nail. I'm gonna go ahead and use this hammer. Oh, I need to change my tires. Take out this hammer. He said, oh, I need to open up this can of pork and beans. Let me go ahead and get that hammer out for you. That's Superman. He just is a hammer.
Well, he has so much power that it's you can't train with that level of power. He'd have to go out and find Darkseid to kick his ass every time he wanted to learn how to fight.
Yeah.
See? And then all it would do is just make him good enough to fight Darkseid. It wouldn't make him good enough to fight nobody else.
So if I understand what you guys are saying, Batman would have the can opener, whereas Superman would smash the can and lick the beans off the parking lot, right?
Yep.
Is that what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
I just wanted to make sure I got okay.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, cat in a tree, don't worry about it, and then hit it with a hammer and then fly away.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock that tree down. Your cat's gonna jump off before it hits the ground.
He'll just destroy it. Like she'd be like, Superman, my cat, and be like, oh, I got you, and then he kills the cat, and he says, all right, citizen, and then flies away.
It's out of the tree.
Yeah. It's not in the
Just
tree anymore.
Technically correct.
We got two more Streamlabs that came in. Dildo the Penetrator says, I'm very concerned about the sexual primal desire that filled Monty's eyes as he saw the pale white ass plates of that Gale sex robot last night. And Hannibal, the homeless guy, didn't want pound cake. He wanted to pound the cake. Yeah, he probably wanted to pound the cake, but I just look. It shit pissed me off. Okay, and like, just to recap, last night when we were on Drunken Peasants, there was a homeless guy. Like I went to go get some food out of vending machine. I shook the goddamn vending machine. I was trying to get some Cheetos, but then this random pound cake fell too. Like I shook it too hard and got some extra shit.
That was Alan Reyes again. That was a Nico chat, by the way.
I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah.
But I shook this. The short version was I shook this machine. I got the thing that I ordered, and it fell out. Some pound cake fell out. So then I walk outside. There's a homeless guy that's like, "Oh man, I'm hungry. I'm so hungry out here in these streets, man. Could you please just give me some money so I can get some food?" I was like, "You know what, brother? You are in luck." Because I shook a vending machine and it gave me this pound cake, so I'm giving this pound cake to you. And this nigga looked at the pound cake and looked at me and said, nah, I need something that's gonna stick to my ribs.
We like a kick.
Yeah, it's like all right, bro. Okay, so that's the what you call it. Lord Jamarcus also said, "I'd be down to send Hannibal a handsome Jack mask. Can I get that added to Amazon? Hell yeah, I will add it tonight."
There you go. Add it to the wish list.
Yeah, and Alan Reyes. Matter of fact, Monty, I'm gonna let you read that one. I'll read the Streamlabs. You read the nickel chats. How about that?
All right. I'll pull up the nickel chat, and then we will get into the next segment after I read this next nickel chat, so we can get this show going, because this show has the potential to run kind of crazy long, and
only until Doug starts shitting on Watchmen. Until then, I'm good to go, baby.
We don't know that Doug's gonna shit on Watchmen.
I am.
Somebody gonna shit on Watchmen.
Look,
I already know it.
Look, Hannibal, you're gonna shit on the Rocketeer, so shut the fuck up.
You don't know that I'm gonna definitely shit on the Rocketeer.
These are spoilers. Nobody shits on the Rocketeer tonight. Nobody shits on the Rocketeer ever.
Nobody shits on the Rocketeer in my town.
Nobody.
You know
nobody shits on the Rocketeer in my era.
Yeah,
okay?
that would be great if there was a superhero and his power was just like that was all he did was just go to different cities and says nobody shits on the Rocketeer in my town.
Yeah,
he doesn't do anything about it. He just says the word. He can detect when people are shitting on the Rocketeer, and he shows up to your town and says nobody shits on the Rocketeer in my town. And that's it. That's all it is.
Well,
like he is telekinetically attracted to that city, doesn't know why, and in the moment that he gets there, that's when they shit on the Rocketeer, and then he defeats them.
Alan Reyes says Superman was born with strength and remained stagnant. Batman has to hone his skill and push his human limits. Facts. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. There you go. I agree with that.
Yeah. Batman is always honing his skills, and Superman is homophobic. So there you go.
There you go. All right.
You gotta love the fans here, man. The fans are so great. I wanted to address it earlier when Doug was laughing when Hannibal read Penetrator name. I saw Doug laughing, and he was like, I could tell he was thinking, "Oh, here we go," and then there he went. You know,
Dildor the Penetrator. Dildor's awesome.
Oh man, fans are great.
Yeah, we love Dildor.
Oh, you guys are great. Keep it coming.
Yeah, let's get into the very first segment of the show. And I told you guys, and you might not have, but have you heard this shit? Here we go.
Hey, wake up! Wake your punk ass up.
Who are you?
Have you heard this shit?
Okay, all right.
What does he smell? Hannibal.
Well, actually, we had a couple shitheads that guessed accurately what he smells. So.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, we had to give out plunger points for it last week.
Did we? I don't remember that.
Yes, look at Monty. He just does not remember. You know what it is? Monty works very hard, and he doesn't like because he's drawing the 365 art every week. You know what I'm saying? And he's got to read the comic of the week instead of reading them all at one time like normal people. He's also got to do all of this stuff to prep the show. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed the new design of the show. Do you guys see like all the fucking this cool sci-fi shit we got going on?
Yeah,
he's always working to make the segments. He's working on making the segments better. He's got to pay our lovely producer Zoe. You know what I'm saying? He's got to like flirt with white women. He's doing a lot of shit. Okay, you know how many white women live in New Orleans? A lot.
I like how he throws white women in, and then
Monty went to a wine and cheese social the other day.
I went to a wine tasting, Hannibal.
So you saying there wasn't no cheese at the gathering?
There was cheese. There was cheese.
That's fucking fancy, Monty. Right on, man. Yeah, you guys, just remember, the show doesn't cool itself. Okay?
Yes. See?
What kind of music did they play at the wine and cheese social you went to, Mark?
Well,
were they playing a lot of Jay-Z there?
Well, I didn't go to I didn't go to a wine and cheese social, but there was no music. It was just people talking and learning about the vineyards that this wine was grown in and how to properly hold a wine glass. How many of you shitheads know how to properly hold a wine glass?
Let me ask you this question, Monty.
Have you ever drinking gas station wine out of a coffee cup? That's the question I wanted to ask you.
Yes, I have. I have.
You have? Me too.
Yes.
Well, this week's album of the week that we're talking about, for check this shit out, we're talking about the Frozen 2 soundtrack. I won't lie to you, when Monty called me and said, hey, the album we got to listen to this week is Frozen 2, I was like, man, fuck you. That's the first thing I thought.
That is what he said.
I looked, that was what it was. We had to check it out. And this album, all right, so anyway, what is the soundtrack to Frozen 2? It's the sequel to the Frozen 1 soundtrack. I mean, what else I need to say? Frozen was a Disney animated movie that came out that was popular as shit. A lot of people saying it's the best animated Disney movie of all time. Like Lion King didn't ever come out of some shit. But whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Hurt.
Yeah, no, I'm
like
just
pain that you were kind of releasing.
No, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. You know, whatever.
Let it out.
Moana's better. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, let it go, Hannibal.
The soundtrack was released on November 15th, and it is already nominated for a bunch of awards. Like, it's already nominated. Into the Unknown is already a Golden Globe nominee for Best Original Song in a Motion Picture, and it's in the Critics' Choice Movie Awards for Best Song. So, it's doing what it does. Numbers wise, what did it do numbers wise? I can't even find no data on this. It's the album date number 1. It sold a bunch, and there it is. All right, Monty, what you think of the album cover?
Oh, it's trash.
I actually haven't seen it. Can you go to our lovely producer Zoe? Can you go full screen with this? I'd like to see what this album cover looks like.
Zoe, can you go into the folder and just click on the album cover?
No, this is fine. We don't need to.
By the way, I just wanted to say that, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Trash gets championed all the time. I've never seen it, but this seems to be a regular fucking trend in this world.
Yeah.
This crazy, beautiful world we live in.
But here's the thing about this album cover. It's bullshit. But it actually says what they're trying to say. They just put no effort into it. But it's Disney level no effort. Where it is, they hired the best teams they could get to put this bullshit up. They knew what they wanted. This was done with precision. This garbage was done with precision. Because if you look at this snowflake, every triangle in the snowflake represents a character from the story. Like, and I'm looking at it, I'm studying it, and I'm like, why did you put this level of detail in and not just make it good?
Laser precision garbage.
It was laser precision with this. Everything, like, the first thing I noticed was the Olaf triangle. I'm like, wait, they don't all look like that. Oh shit, that's Elsa, that's Finn, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why is this so bad, but so good when it comes to planning?
Now, I've never seen it, but I respect your opinion. I have to say, like, Disney has money, right?
Yeah.
They didn't go broke.
Oh, they obviously
filed
have
for
money.
Bankruptcy, and I didn't see it. Okay.
Yeah, like this.
They got some money. I mean,
this is perfect.
Christ.
You cannot find a flaw in this album cover. There are no flaws.
That's what's garbage about it.
Yeah, but
it's a shiny turd.
Art is supposed to have flaws.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be done by a hand.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. Like, so you made a perfect thing that's completely uninteresting.
Yeah.
It's perfectly
the issue I have with this is when I see certain album covers, I can associate it with certain genres of music. So you remember like the old Cash Money No Limit album covers? I knew when I saw that shitty pen and pixel cover that I was about to listen to a down south rap album.
Yeah.
Right? There's certain covers, as soon as I see it, I can associate it with a certain genre of music.
Yeah.
This almost looks like I'm about to listen to some black metal.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you listen to it, it's a Disney princess singing.
Yeah, it was like they switched like a motherfucker, man. Like if I got this thinking I was getting fucking Slipknot, you know what I'm saying? And then I turn around and got Frozen, Adina Menzel, I'd be a big man. Big man.
Yeah. So
a lot of people bought it, though. I guess a lot of people bought into it.
And for anybody, any dumbass person in the chat that was like, "Oh, well, you can't judge a book by its cover." Yes, you can.
Yeah.
That's why books have covers.
But look,
that's literally why covers exist.
But no,
so we can judge them before we get them.
But let's go with that. You can't judge a book by the cover. This is what I thought just looking at it. I'm not talking about what I heard. How was the production on this, Hannibal?
I mean, look, it's classic Disney. And one of the things that I said, I listened to this album today. I listened to this album today, and the thing about Disney production is Disney movies are musicals, right? Like these big animated movies that we watch, Lion King, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Pocahontas, they're all musicals. They're just musicals that we don't mind watching.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, and one thing I can say about the genre of musicals is that in 100 years, right, and like from now to like if you go back to 1919 to now, there's a certain style that musicals use in their musicianship with the chord progressions and the way the verses are expressed and stuff like that, and that shit has not changed in 100 years. Like this style of music has not changed in a century. It has a very unique sound to it. It's very big. It's very polished. You know, you can hear the 100-piece orchestra sections and all that stuff. Like it's fun.
It's a score. It's a score from way back. Like they do, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I like classical music, believe it or not. Even though I drink gas station wine out of a coffee cup, a dirty coffee cup, mind you. But just wanted to let you know, Monty, our Cornerverse Coalition theme by Stefan Todsev, it's a fucking masterpiece. I'm not kidding. It is a fucking masterpiece.
It is.
You've heard it. You have heard it, right? Yeah, it's in-house only.
Yeah.
It's a fucking masterpiece.
It is.
Took it, and I'm by far not a musical genius by any means, and I'm not an expert. I dabbled in, I did some jam bands in my 20s and stuff, and I like guitar. So I played this, I recorded myself doing this guitar riff, right? I wrote the melody and I sent it to him, and I'm like, dude, we need to get this, and we want this in a classical theme. We want a score. And he took it and just blew me away. I could not even believe, and it was the most beautiful thing because he took this little minuscule thing that I did, this little melody that I envisioned, and then he took it so much further. Like, it's a beautiful thing. I like classical music. I do. So, but
yeah, I mean, look, the production on this is everything you would expect from a Disney soundtrack. Like, it's big, it's polished. And you know, towards the end of the project, you get like contemporary artists. You get Panic at the Disco, Weezer, and Casey Musgraves doing like, I guess, pop versions of the songs from the movie. This is one of those things that Disney has shined in the totality of their existence. Like Disney is very good at you know, having a modern day pop singer take a song from a movie, sing that song, and then you can throw it on the radio and it fits.
Exactly. I know what you're saying. It's exactly why Disney and like Bezos does not drink gas station wine from a coffee cup.
True.
Yeah,
True.
They got that shit. So that's it. Monty, you got any? And for everybody, I don't know, Doug, Ryan Palmer, if you guys listen to it, do you guys have any standout tracks on the Frozen 2 soundtrack?
I will say, I listened to this today while working on my Christmas commissions because that time of year, and I was excited when I saw this because I saw Weezer did Lost in the Woods. I didn't know what Lost in the Woods was. Then I heard Lost in the Woods while listening. I was like, oh, I can't imagine Weezer doing that. I got to the Weezer song. I'm like, oh, this is Weezer doing that song I just heard. That's awesome. Okay, because it sounded like Weezer doing that song. I won't call it a standout. It was fun. I enjoyed it. If you're a Weezer fan, you'll want to listen. You'll want to listen to the original version, then listen to the Weezer version, because you'll fucking love it. But if you just hear it, you go, "Oh, just Weezer." But what did stand out to me is Panic at the Disco's "Into the Unknown." I'm
on the same page with you, Monty. That's the standout.
That is actually fucking phenomenal. Like, I am keeping that song in my rotation.
Monty wants y'all to know that he's a fan of the Frozen soundtrack, and he needed to find a way to frame it so that way he didn't just feel like a grown ass man that just loves Frozen. It's okay, man. It's all good, man.
I wish Tish was standing there so she could tell you my review when I finish listening.
If you like, you know, and you know why he loves Frozen? Because it's all white women in that shit. It's all good. There's no people of color in Frozen.
No, let's diss him from the period.
They might have had a black dude play the reindeer. So you know what I'm saying. You might have had that.
That wasn't a black dude.
That wasn't okay.
No, that was the guy.
Monty even Googled it just to make sure there was no black dude in it, so he knew how to like it first.
I saw Frozen 1. The reindeer voice is just Sven doing a voice.
Yeah.
Because he does the reindeer voice. Because the reindeer doesn't talk. It's not like a regular Disney movie where the animals talk. He's like, he talks to the reindeer, and it's like, what do you think about this? Oh, I think it's this.
And the reindeer makes faces.
Hannibal, he's not getting it. He likes music that derived from stuff that was created 100 years ago. You have to diminish him from period. Sir, you diminish yourself. You have to do it like an aristocrat. Like let's insult him like Victorian age aristocrats.
I got to read this. I think it's awesome. Dildor the Penetrator says, I took my daughter to see it in theaters. I hate this shit, but seeing her face light up meant it all to me. The songs they had made me a bit emotional because it matches what we are going through. So you know what? Dildor, you getting plunger points for that.
See, there we go. Let me write that down. I think we lost Zoe.
Dildor getting sentimental.
Yes.
Never thought that would happen.
Dildor. I'm writing it down.
Oh man,
there we go. Got it.
That was a bullseye, Doug.
All right. Well, wait, hang on.
Sarcasm bullseye.
Hang on, I'm getting.
That's literally all I got to say. Like the Into the Unknown song, when I heard it, like, and it's weird listening to the music from a musical without seeing the musical. I'm like, is this what blind people go through all the time? You just listen to? Okay, this is strange.
Yeah.
But
that's all they have, man.
That's how I felt with Hamilton.
When I heard it, when I listened to the album before I got to the Panic at the Disco version of it, Into the Unknown was the song that stood out. And then when I heard the Panic at the Disco version, I was like, oh, it took a song that I liked and made it better. So, you know, shout out to Panic at the Disco. I didn't realize it, but I might be a fan of you guys.
Yeah, look, I think Panic is the Weezer for the generation after Weezer fans.
Is that what they are? I think
that's how I feel.
Panic at the Disco is. I thought they were the Fallout Boy.
Doug doesn't agree. I see the look on his face. Doug's giving me that. I'm judging you for saying that.
No, I'm not judging you. You're just super wrong.
Nobody's.
See. We'll have this discussion later.
Judge people for being wrong.
This show is about movies. We're gonna have this discussion later.
We're gonna have a character judgment on you.
All right, that's fine. Look, you have character judgments on me all the time.
But it has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, this is different. That's fine.
Yeah.
I can take it.
He's not attacking you, Monty. Be as wrong as you want, okay?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I say what I want.
Yeah, say up is down. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, up is down, motherfucker. Deal with it.
I don't give a shit. You're wrong.
Someone Panic at the Disco is one guy doing everything. So Panic at the Disco is one guy named Panic at the Disco.
I don't think
that's a whole band.
Yeah,
that's kind of awesome. I kind of like that shit.
Panic is not one guy.
No. The Fall Out Boy has one writer, and then the other guy,
Yeah.
He's kind of writing everything.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is just playing along.
Yeah.
Panic, I don't believe so. I believe that's a whole band thing.
Panic is basically Fall Out Boy for this generation. That's what I think.
They came out at the same time. Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they don't. But Panic resonates more with this generation, not the last generation. Sort of like Wiz Khalifa last generation, Post Malone this generation. They might have came out at the same time.
Though.
Okay.
You guys are absolutely right, but music traditionally has been like that, where you build a band around one person who's a visionary and you have some guys that support. I mean, I'm not saying that. There are bands where everybody's talented, but you take favorite bands personally for me, like Tool. You take Maynard James Keenan, who's a visionary, and some guys who are very talented musicians who back him up. They're very good at what they're very innovative musicians as well. But then you get that, and he has other bands that he does this with. You know, obviously like Perfect Circle's very good. And then you get what else? You get like Morrison as well for the Doors, or you know, there's examples throughout music of that where you get one guy who's a poet, who's a showman, and then or like with the Marvel Universe, you get Stan Lee, who has a lot of vision, and then you build an empire from it, you know, and then it gets bought out, and then or like
now we're getting depressed.
Yes.
Yeah, you get like it felt when it first happened. I mean, they've done some amazing movies. Don't get me wrong, but at first my first impression was like, doesn't it feel like Mickey Mouse is playing with someone else's toys? You know, it's like, you know, it's like, well, I mean, Disney was the same thing though. You know, that started out with like, you know, and that's what it started with. You look at that today, that would never float today. If someone came out with that, that would be a web comic at best. And then, you know, at that time, it spawned just a titan in entertainment. And it's at the point, it's almost, I mean, not that I feel real strongly, right? Great for them, you know, the money, but it's approaching like Monopoly. Like they've got the money, they could buy the.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they're there. They're there.
Yeah.
Like at some point, Disney is going to buy YouTube, and then they're gonna ban this episode for my What's Eating Hannibal. So
you heard it here first.
Yeah, Disney's gonna ban this whole show. So
won't they just purchase the planet at some point? Like they'll just purchase the planet and tell us what to watch. Yeah. Tell us what to plug in.
They will. Yeah.
Don't watch that screen. Just plug this directly into your synapses, and then. Yeah.
When they finally buy Warner Brothers, that's when it's over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll be the end of days right there.
Yeah.
Maybe it will until Cornerstone launches, and hopefully we can hold on and not fucking sell out. They're probably going to offer us a ridiculous amount of money. You got to ask yourself, like, how much do you love your creations? Like, I love them. I'll never sell out. And they're like, here's $5 billion. And I'll be like, I'll see you in the Caribbean, guys.
Yeah, Disney.
I'm gonna get the gas station wine and grab my coffee cup. I'll catch you guys down there.
Yeah, Disney. When you're ready to buy the shit show, hit us up. Like me and Hannibal will pop up somewhere else.
I mean, when you got that kind of money, come on. We're not talking about selling out. We're talking about a company that can buy you and give you a number you can't refuse.
Yeah.
For your lifetime. Can you imagine having the entertainment power? It's not healthy for entertainment.
Yeah.
Because anything that can swallow anything that's even competition is not. We need competition, I think, in entertainment because it keeps everybody honest. And you get passionate creators.
Listen, we gotta. You know what? We gotta do this Monty right now. I know you gotta do what's up next. You gotta do What's Eating Hannibal. We gotta do it now. We gotta do it right at this second.
You want to do it right now?
Gotta do it right now.
See, you're fucking with me right now.
I'm sorry. Do it the way you gotta do it. It's just because what Ryan said just leads into what I got to say so much.
All right. Well, look, we're gonna skip what's up next.
I love you too, Hannibal. I love you too, man.
And I'm just gonna go into the two questions. Like I'm gonna skip what's up next. We know what's coming up next. Next week, get ready to vote for the Golden Turd Awards. So here we go. Two questions. Here's the first one.
What's up, nigga? You want to talk some shit?
That's the first question.
Yes, I do. Let's talk some shit. All Doug, Ryan Palmer, y'all ready to talk some shit?
All right, let's talk some shit.
All right, and here's the second question. And that is What's Eating Hannibal?
Often imitated but never duplicated.
Yeah, that's it. OG, original gangster, original gangster, original gangster.
Women drivers, people who talk during the movie, customers who cannot make up their mind while ordering food.
They shit on LA, they shit on Chicago, they shit on Miami, they shit on New Jersey.
New Yorkers, Atlanta Falcon fans, possibly people from Alaska.
They hate Canadians. They hate the South. They hate the rain. They hate the snow. They hate murder. They hate crime. They hate fucking everything. They hate the Knicks when they're winning. They hate the Knicks when they're losing.
Indecisive morons. Blithering idiots. Humans. These people have formed a burning question. What is grinding Hannibal's gears?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Dun, 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 dun. Yes. What's eating Hannibal today? So we are adding, this episode is Monty and I adding to the ultimate comic book movie list. And as we add to the ultimate comic book movie list, we let you guys vote on the movies that we were going to be talking about today. And you guys voted on us to talk about The Watchmen. You guys voted on us to talk about Kick-Ass. Y'all voted on us to talk about Logan. Y'all voted on us to talk about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And y'all voted on us to talk about The Rocketeer.
Truth.
So let me go ahead and just get started on this What's Eating Hannibal. My headphones feel like they're about to break apart because the shit I'm about to say is so incendiary. This shit's gonna get us booted off the internet. So I got some shit I need to talk about right now, right? So I watched The Rocketeer, and when I was a child and I saw this movie, I watched it and I was like, wow, I didn't enjoy this at all. And then I watched it again as an adult, and I was like, wow, I didn't enjoy this at all as an adult. It's not too many times that I watch something as a child and then not like it again as an adult. But, you know, I started doing my Googles, and I came across some very interesting information that I'd like to share with you guys that are leading to my What's Eating Hannibal. The Rocketeer creator Dave Stevens and a few others began to pitch The Rocketeer in 1986 to major film studios, but they were constantly turned down. According to Dave Stevens, this was 1986, long before Batman and Dick Tracy or anything similar. In those days, no studio was interested at all in an expensive comic book movie. We got there about 3 years too early for our own good. Walt Disney Studios eventually accepted The Rocketeer because they believed the film had toyetic potential. I'm gonna say that again. Toyetic potential. That's the potential to make motherfucking toys and appeal for merchandising. According to Rocketeer creator Dave Stevens, they really tried to shoehorn it into a kiddie property so they could sell toys. All they really wanted at the end of the day was the name The Rocketeer. And that's what's eating Hannibal. Disney execs, there are way too many cooks in the kitchen. Y'all need to back the fuck up, okay? Screenwriters Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo submitted their 7-page film treatment. Oh, my headphones falling apart. There you go. They're like, the shit I'm saying is too spicy. Screenwriters Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo submitted a 7-page film treatment to Disney as soon as the shit got picked up. But the studio said that put the script through endless rewrites. Over 5 years, Disney fired and rehired Paul DeMeo and Danny Hilson 3 different times. They said that the screenwriter said that they found the studio's constant tinkering with the screenplay to be frustrating process, as executives would like previously thrown away scenes, and then 3 months later and sometimes 2 years later they'd be like, hey, we like that scene, let's use it again. And it was like, what's the fucking point? Disney execs, there are way too many cooks in the kitchen. Y'all need to back the fuck up, all right? Let the writers be great. And Disney went out of their way. They tweaked Cliff's girlfriend, because in the original Rocketeer, they used comparisons to Betty Page, and Betty Page was a nude model in Hollywood, you know, and then they changed it to make they went from Betty Page to Jenny and made her a Hollywood extra as opposed to a nude model. Right? Disney wanted it to be shot in contemporary times because they thought a period piece wouldn't resonate with a large audience. Disney changed the ending from being in a fucking submarine to a Nazi Zeppelin because it makes more sense for the Rocketeer to be flying against something that flies. So we got this dumbass scene at the end of the movie that doesn't make any sense, right? this random Nazi Zeppelin just flew to Los Angeles, but whatever. Disney wanted Billy Campbell to play the Rocketeer. They wanted an A-lister. And look, I'm gonna keep saying the same shit. Disney execs, there are way too many cooks in the kitchen. Y'all need to back the fuck up. And Disney has a history of doing this type of shit over and over again. Let's talk about Edgar Wright and Ant-Man. Okay, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Joss Whedon, who was running the whole MCU at the time, said when he got the script for Ant-Man, he says, I thought the script was not only the best Marvel had ever had, but it was the most Marvel script I ever read. That's what he said about the screenplay Edgar Wright wrote for Ant-Man. If y'all don't know who Edgar Wright is, he's the guy who wrote Shaun of the Dead. He wrote Hot Fuzz. Oh yeah, he's also the guy that wrote and directed Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which we'll be talking about later tonight.
True.
Joss Whedon said, I had no interest in Ant-Man. Then I read the script that Edgar Wright wrote, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Joss Whedon went on to say that the script effectively channeled the Ant-Man comic, and that was irreverent and funny and could make what it was from large to small and vice versa, right? In an interview with Variety in 2017, Edgar Wright said, I think the most diplomatic answer I can give you on why I didn't make that movie was I wanted to make a Marvel movie, but I don't think Marvel wanted to make an Edgar Wright movie. He said that he eventually left the movie because they ended up hiring people to rewrite the film and didn't include him in the writing process.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. And you'd be like, okay, well, that's just one director. You know what I'm saying? Like, Disney has a right to blah, blah, blah. Like, shut up, okay? Because then they chased Joss Whedon away from Disney Marvel. According to Collider, the experience that Joss Whedon had of developing Age of Ultron, he said was a Herculean task that pushed him to the limits because they wanted him to change his style of filmmaking, and it pissed him off so much that after he made the movie, he fucking left. Disney execs, there are way too many cooks in the fucking kitchen. Y'all need to back the fuck up.
I think he was right. Age of Ultron was probably my least favorite of the Avengers movies. It was forgettable for me, and I saw it in the theater with the family, and the same with the kids. I'm with you on that. Also, I wanted to say, Jason Voorhees, that's the most I've ever heard you talk in any film or public appearance. Please release my friend Hannibal.
Oh, no.
And also, I agree with them on changing the Rocketeer to a Zeppelin instead of a submarine. I think that was genius because I like that scene. I gotta say, flying high, but it was period. And so I want to agree with you afterwards with my ultimate point is, how did they feel that you take a period film about a World War II superhero and then they wanted to make it for late 1980s kids?
Well,
you know,
yeah,
they wanted to make that a property for kids.
Yeah. Oh, look,
You thought that they were gonna love World War II era stuff.
Oh no. But
What
see,
planet are they from?
Oh no, wait. Well, hold up, because I got a whole counterpoint for that, because it's like you want to say that wouldn't work, but it worked very well for Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's true. With the
So, you know, we can't, that's not an excuse. You know, and at the end of the day, a good story is a good story no matter how you frame it.
But then again, you're right on Indiana Jones if you're talking about the first film, but the after films were more about treasure hunting. They weren't as much about the period as like the Nazis making this, wanting to summon the dead and like all this stuff, you know.
But that was still, and then look, and then we talk about that. But
right about the first film.
What was the other? What was that fake Indiana Jones movie that came out, like the Jewel of the Nile?
Crystal Skulls or the?
No. There's another one. It was like a Michael Douglas movie.
Oh, there's a Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile. Yeah.
There you go. And then look, Disney execs are fucking up all kinds of other shit. They canceled the upcoming Gambit film, and they've been weighing the pros and cons about shelving or releasing the New Mutants, which is trash because Disney is in the process. They said they were unimpressed with the original cut, and they've been refilming a whole lot of New Mutants. But when the New Mutants was tested, when Fox did the initial testing of the New Mutants, the audience loved it as much as they loved Deadpool.
But they don't care because they have money, and their plan is to regurgitate great creators' work for centuries. That's what they're going to do. They do the cash cows. They're entertaining characters, but they're 8 years old.
And this is the issue that I have with Disney, and this is the issue that I have with The Rocketeer, is that Disney has a mold. Right? They have a mold, and it was like, in order for this movie to be what we want it to be, it has to fit, the story has to fit into this mold. And if it does, and they will literally shave off crucial pieces to make it fit into that Disney mold. And like when I watched The Rocketeer back, I realized that what I didn't like about that movie, what I don't like about that movie, is the same thing I didn't like about any of those Disney movies that were coming out in the 90s, in the late 80s, early 90s, is that they all had this certain feel to them that I didn't like. I wasn't a fan of. I never was. I'm not a fan of how they was putting together those, like especially in their live action movies that were coming out at the time. I wasn't a fan. Look, we can go ahead and get right into it right now. I'll go first.
There you go.
On The Rocketeer. You know, because and I got a lot more that I want to say about this, but like, look, when I watched this movie as a child, I didn't like it. When I watched it again as an adult, I still didn't like it. But I realized as an adult, this movie isn't bad. This is not a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's just I think the Disney version of this story is not great. It's because it's all the stuff about this movie that I don't like is all the forced Disney elements. It's the idea of taking this story and making it fit into that Disney box. So like the scene at the club where the main character has to pass his girl Jennifer Connelly a message in a tomato soup, and then the bad guy finds it in the soup like a couple minutes after the fact. That's a very Disney way of having that scene play out.
It is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those scenes in the movie that just don't resonate well with me. So for me, this movie is a C-.
All right.
Yeah, this movie is a C-. I guess we're going clockwise. So Monty, what did you think of Rocketeer?
I enjoyed the shit out of Rocketeer. This is actually the first time I've ever seen this movie. I always wanted to. I enjoyed the shit out of it, and I thought for what it was, I thought it was well executed, well done.
Oh, and real quick, everybody in the chat, let us know your grades. If you've seen The Rocketeer, let us know your grades. Let us know your opinion on the shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I want to see what everybody thinks.
Chime in. And look, 59 of you watching, 48 likes. Let's make a match, people. Come on, keep up. But no, this movie, I enjoyed the shit out of it. I thought it was well done. Like some of the graphics, like the big dude, I thought he looked like trash. Like he looks terrible.
You know who that dude was, right?
No, who is that?
That's fucking Tiny Ron from Star Trek. That's Deanna Troy's mama's assistant.
Okay.
That
shit!
dog.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
He just looked bad. Like that was the only thing. And I try to forgive stuff like that for these grades because, you know, at the time, you know, that's what you can work with. That's what you can do. I get it. But I would give this movie I've been jumping between C plus. I think it's a C plus, almost a B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, that's where I sit with Rocketeer. I think Rocketeer is good. I think it's worth it. I think it belongs. I think
you think Rocketeer is better than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
I disagree. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
Which Turtles though?
The first one, the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I'll say
where like Casey Jones faces off with him, and he's like,
That's a toss up for
with
me.
the trench coat.
I mean, it could be a toss up till you think about how both of these movies play out. I think Rocketeer does it better. If I'm being completely objective with it.
Okay.
Rocketeer
more than I did when I was
does
a
it
kid.
better. Rocketeer has less holes than the first
I like
Turtles
Turtles better when I was a kid. If
First
you
Turtles
asked
movie,
me when
I love more
when it came
than the
out,
Rocketeer.
I would be like, Turtles was way better.
Yeah.
But you go back to the film now, and me as a 38-year-old man looking at them both, I gotta say I like the suit and I like the story and the premise of it. And honestly, Turtles probably today. Turtles fell out of love with me a little bit for personal reasons, but okay, go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
I like to talk.
We'll pass it over
Do I
to
get to
Doug.
talk?
Oh yeah, you're coming up right after Doug. We're going around.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I gave it a B minus, almost really.
All
good.
right.
Okay. Because it is super flawed and it's got a lot of camp to it.
Yeah.
But I forgive that because it was 1990. And if you think about any superhero movie that had ever come out at that point, like for me, Batman does not age as well as other people's like memories of it is, because to me it's full of goofy shit that you can't write off because they're obsessed with the comic bookness of what they're doing. I thought The Rocketeer was dead on tonally because it's a serial era character. It's 40s and everything. And this is the same director who did First Avenger later on. So
he actually, believe it or not, he got the first Avenger job because the people at Disney liked the way he did the Rocketeer.
Because he nailed that era.
Point.
Yeah, he nails it, and like he nails the era, and so like for me, I contextualize it in the 40s and in the 90s at the same time, and to me, it comes out pretty great. And I think it has I always loved the idea of the jetpack and the costume and everything. So I'm sort of like obsessed with it. You know, I love Boba Fett. I love all those characters that kind of look like this. And that guy, the guy who directed this, designed Boba Fett as well. So he already was a Rocketeer fan and kind of worked a guy into the Star Wars canon.
All right.
That was when he was designing costumes that looked like the Rocketeer.
I always wonder why the rocket didn't burn this nigga's legs up.
Oh yeah, That's
they
always
explained that
always been a thing
early on.
But you know, ultimately, I think it's fun. I think the points you bring up are valid. I just still like the movie because of it. So like I think everything you said is valid and should be left alone. But this is what all studios do. Warner Brothers is definitely not keeping their dick out of everything. So like,
no, I have a huge issue with this, but it bothers me a lot with Disney because they're buying everything up.
True.
And there's certain types of stories, and this is something that Monty and I, it becomes a not a point of contention, but we differ on this one. Like there's certain movies that like, and just speaking on the Fox films, right? Specifically Deadpool and Logan. Disney never makes those movies. Disney Marvel never makes those movies.
Yeah.
Those movies needed to be made. At the end of the day, like all of these companies are banks. And it boils down to, am I going to get a return on my investment? But with Disney, their bank is also their brand. Warner Brothers doesn't have a brand, so they can take chances on. That's why they can do fucking Joker, because it's like, all right, well, if it works, cool. If it doesn't work, well, fuck it. You know, nobody knows us for anything. But with Disney, it's this whole fucking entity. Where's all the rated R movies on Disney Plus?
Well, Warner Brothers does have a brand, but its brand has always been edgier. Like the Looney Tunes characters don't need to stay family oriented. They were already making adult jokes in the 30s. And then they also do all these varied projects. Disney was this family thing that has been eating everything else. So it keeps trying to drag everything toward the Disneyness as opposed to just having
and just like any galactic body, right? When a body gets too big, it creates its own gravity. Right?
That's what
I gotta say.
Disney's body is so big, it's got its own gravity and its own spherical influence. It's literally sucking up everything around it at this point.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think those are all absolutely valid points. And Doug, that was awesome.
Well, look. Why don't we
you guys respect them?
Why don't we just take it like this is your time, Ryan. Take it from here and roll. Unless you have more to say. I'm good. All right.
No, I do want to say just on the Disney side of things, I think they are taking those things in and Disneying them, but there's something that's behind that is the driving force, and it's buying competition. I think that they're taking things that are competition and they're buying properties up that maybe they have no intent. I mean, there's a lot of things from Fox they have no intention of using. They bought the entire fucking studio. Are you kidding me? Like, it's essentially like a real life version of Monopoly. Only they own Park Place and Boardwalk, all the railroads, and they get free parking every time they roll. Like, I mean, like seriously, the only way that anything's going to rise up and give them any competition is by doing quality story writing and doing it outside the toxic structure. The thing is about the toxic structure is that these big studios have a bunch of corporate guys that are a big steamroller. They need a lot of money to go, and they need creators to create story for them so that they can form it into these, like you said, Doug, these Disney-ish things. And nowadays, people are publishing their own comics. I mean, holy fuck, print on demand is easier than ever. I'm not a genius, and I self-published a book. I mean, anybody can fucking do it if I can. Seriously.
But what about the Rocketeer?
No brainer.
Yes.
Okay, so about the Rocketeer, get into it. I won't get into what Disney did with it because when I experienced this, I didn't watch it recently. I didn't refresh it because I've seen it probably about 8 times throughout my childhood. My dad had a huge movie collection, and my brother and I spent many nights just hanging out and partying and then watching movie marathons and shit. And like I watched this probably 8 times in my lifetime, and I know the film very well. I have to say I loved it, even though it was a period film. It was from a period that I didn't understand. I loved the costume, and I loved the idea just strapped of it was the idea as a kid where we loved Batman, but it was before I fully understood that Batman was great because he was a human who was intelligent and very savvy. You know what I mean? This was a guy that strapped a backpack on and had a gun, and he was a superhero. You could strap that on your back, and if you could fly that fucking thing, you could be a superhero. He had a rudder on his head. I loved the helmet. It just was, it was a lot a as a kid. I loved it.
Yeah, the creators also had to fight to keep the helmet because Disney wanted it to look like a NASA helmet, not what it is.
Oh, they would have ruined it.
Yeah, Dave Stevens had to fight to keep the helmet.
I'm glad they put their foot down on that because it is a beautiful design. Although I do have to say it's kind of Guyver-ish. If you guys know the Guyver,
Yeah, but Rocketeer
Guyver is kind of Rocketeerish.
Yeah, but Rocketeer or Guyver came after Rocketeer. Like let's just
yeah, right. But
like Superman isn't Goku-ish.
Yeah,
Okay, it came before.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I'm quite a bit. I think I just saw marathons and stuff, but I just see the little Finn thing. So yeah.
And this was some of the best art ever. What grade did you give it, Ryan?
I would have to say, I would give it. I love the movie myself. It has, value to me because I had so many good memories watching it with family and growing up, and I watched it so many times. Never got tired of it. I could watch the movie 8 times, and I still liked it the same on the 8th time as the first time, and that counts for something. I feel bad about the controversy between the comic book guys and the corporate. I think there's a problem there. That's a toxic structure, but I have to give it overall on all movies that I enjoy. I'd probably give it a C.
All right.
Interesting. I just for real thought you was ramping up to give it like an A+. I was waiting on you to go there with it.
All right.
No. C+ actually. I'll probably give it a C just because I enjoyed it personally. That's personal.
Very interesting. How interesting I find that.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that are better than the Rocketeer. I mean, I can talk all day about anything. I can talk all day about dog shit if that's our subject. But, there's a lot of other films I like much more than the Rocketeer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, well, those are our grades. Let's and also, I want to say this before we move forward to the next segment. To everybody here talking with us, when we get to a movie that you have some shit to say, if you have a lot of shit to say about a movie, claim your 3 minutes. You get 3 minutes to go on about something because we're trying to keep it moving. So just say, I need my 3 minutes now. And I will play the 3-minute timer, even though I haven't found it here yet. It's somewhere. I'll find it in this list of videos. I don't know where Zoe hid it from me. I'll find it before we get to it. But let's move on to the next segment. Let's get into some fair or foul.
Yes, fair or motherfucking foul.
Yes. How big are your balls?
Okay, Mr. Rashid. Are they ready for the truth?
Yes, they're ready for it.
Just love it.
And what's good? And how do they hurt us? Because they love Phil.
We don't need to give any time to them, Master.
We're talking about deliverance. See, I'm talking, so many people out there are captives. And I'm talking about homosexual lifestyle. I was delivered from something like that. I was a prostitute for over 30 years. I sold my body on the street corners. See, I can talk about that sin. Hallelujah. Because see, I was wrapped up, tied up, tangled up. And I loved it when I was doing it. Hallelujah. God came and purged me. Hallelujah. God made me get it the old-fashioned way. You just turn your soul unto me and I'll use you. But now I can shake for Jesus up under the anointing of the Holy Ghost. Bless you.
Suck my cock, bitches.
God bless you.
Has the Imperial Magistrate reached a verdict? I have. Guilty or innocent. Innocent. Feed him to the Sharkagons.
Yes, fair or motherfucking foul. So, the way fair foul works, first off, if this is your first time watching Hannibal and Monty Shit Show, welcome. We're happy to have you guys. So for everybody in the chat, if you haven't already liked the stream, go ahead and click the like button. If you haven't shared it already, go ahead and share that. You get plunger points if you share the stream and tag us in it. You know, you automatically, I think you get 25 plunger points for it. So that's a way to get some plunger points. And you can look, so you can share it on Instagram, that's 25 plunger points. Share it on Twitter, that's 25 plunger points. Share it on Facebook, that's 25 plunger points. Share it on Snapchat, that's 25 plunger points. You can share it on all the different social media platforms, and if you share, every time you share it, you're getting 25 plunger points. So go ahead and share it, rack those points up. American Nightmare actually just posted on Instagram the Phineas and Ferb Sin City shirt that Monty designed, and you know he posted that shit online. So you know, just saying, guys, you get free stuff. Well, not free stuff, but you get stuff if you know for accumulating those plunger points. So go ahead and run them up. The way fair foul works is every day I, Hannibal the Beat Animal, some say the lifeblood of the show. I wouldn't say that, but that's what
is that what some say? Who are these some?
I mean, look, I try not to, you know, it is what it is. And look, Ryan is Ryan invisible. He has the cloak of invisibility from
He's back.
Oh,
he's back.
And he's back.
See?
There you go. So the way fair foul works, every day I do a deep dive on the news. I have a news aggregator site I go to: Fox News, CNN, InfoWars, Breitbart, The Blaze, The Hill, Politico, Reuters, Huffington Post, etc. I go to 100 different news sites. I read 100 different stories, and when I get to the end of the story, I wonder to myself, you know, did they get this story at the end? Was it right or was it wrong? Did they make the right decision, the wrong decision? Was the end result fair or was it foul? So I'm gonna read you guys a couple stories, and you guys tell me if you think the story is fair or foul. Now, because we're adding to the ultimate comic book movie list, I made it where all the fair fouls are about the movies that we're talking about. And for this issue, for this part of fair foul, I made them all about the Watchmen. So these are all Watchmen-based fair fouls.
That's perfect. And also, I wanted to excuse myself. I had to go take a leak. I don't know how you guys do it. Do you have a bottle under your desk, or are you guys peeing in jugs like this is fucking Dumb and Dumber, or what? I mean, what do you guys do?
I just hold it till the end of the show. But you know what it is? I normally be pissed off until I do What's Eating Hannibal, and after that, I'm all the pissiness is gone. That's
See, there you go. All right. Well, let's see what we got. Bring it on, Hannibal.
Right. So, do you want the Breitbart story or the LA Times story?
Which one do I want?
Want's a strong word.
Yes.
I got you. Well, then let's do this. We'll do the LA Times story right now. So this story comes from the LA Times, and this is about the Watchmen TV series. Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you guys in the chat, and you know, Monty, you know, I'm gonna ask you guys no spoilers because I want to give people a chance that haven't seen it yet to, you know, have a chance to get caught up on the show. But it's a fantastic show. I've watched it. Doug has watched it. It's a great show.
I watched half of it. Don't leave me out. What the fuck?
Okay. Monty, just like the X-Men comics we're reading on the pre-show. Monty's read, you know, half of it. I mean, seen half. There you go.
I have to say I haven't seen it at all, so I'm going in blind. I do a media blackout. Usually I'm doing you guys' show, but I do a media blackout while I'm writing. And I actually haven't watched cable television in 15 years.
That's all right. You know, you're not missing a whole lot, but that's okay. Because the great thing about these stories is you don't have to have watched the show in order to be able to participate in this fair file. So
nice.
The LA Times wrote that one of the writers from the LA Times wrote that the Watchmen television show is more manipulative than meaningful, and Watchmen has a lost problem. We're gonna stay on that first thing for a second. More manipulative than meaningful, right?
Okay.
HBO's Watchmen is among the best reviewed series of the year, scoring 85 out of 100 on the review aggregation site Metacritic, and appearing on more than 40 critics' top 10 lists to date. Not among them, though, are Times TV critics Lorraine Ali and Robert Lloyd. And we're going to specifically talk about Lorraine Ali because she was left unmoved by creator Damon Lindelof's spin on Alan Moore's beloved graphic novel. And this is what Lorraine Ali had to say. She said, "I know little to nothing about the comic book that inspired the HBO series. Still, I was excited to see this show because trailers made it look like it was going to be to explore very real issues, discrimination, the normalizing of white supremacy, women as avengers for justice inside a fictional universe. It's based on present-day Tulsa, Oklahoma, where white supremacists have amassed and mobilized. Cop Angela Barr, played by Angela Abar, played by Regina King, leads the effort to eradicate the terrorist group. She's a superhero here, masked and fighting the 7th Cavalry. Think Ku Klux Klan, but in masks rather than hoods. Then there are other story arcs rooted in utter fantasy, squids dropping from the sky, mind control, doomsday clock, etc. Yet, 8 episodes into The Watchmen, I'm still scratching my head, trying to figure out what exactly this series is about. Vigilante justice meets institutionalized racism meets other things that I'm going to not say because I don't want to do any spoilers. She says it evokes brutal truths like the 1921 Tulsa race massacre, lynching, and police brutality. It makes the obvious point that America has a really ugly past, and it's not really the past because history keeps repeating itself, but then the heavy subject matter is mixed with outlandish subplots, so it feels like it's dropped in for effect. Overall, it seems irresponsible and exploitative. Now, here's my thing. And this is the fair foul question I have here, right? She hasn't read the comic. She's never read she's never read the source material, right? Which I know there's some people that haven't read it. And I'm gonna go ahead and make the presumption, and I'm 100% positive I'm right. She's also never watched the Watchmen movie.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, is it fair or foul if you haven't been exposed to the source material? And mind you, this is essentially a sequel, a continuation of a story she's never been exposed to. Is it fair or foul for her to be able to critique this TV show?
Jesus, Hannibal, you've outdone yourself. Man, that is amazing. And honestly, I just have to say I haven't seen the new series, but I know that the original Watchmen movie was very true to its core.
And look, so everybody,
material.
Everybody in the chat, let us know your opinion. Fair or foul? Is it fair or foul that this journalist is critiquing the shit out of this TV show?
Foul.
You know what I'm saying? That she is not seeing
Doug threw a foul.
Any of the source material. So Ryan Palmer, go ahead. I'm unleashing.
I'm itching. I'm itching. You know I'm itching. And what I was saying was that here's a series that's focusing on a controversial subject like like racism and the KKK, and I'm very interested to hear your opinion on how I feel about it, but also the fact that she's never seen the original content. Alan Moore, who is arguably one of the greatest creators of our time, I value his writing. It's beautiful, and the original comic series was very rooted in the opinion that superheroes can be something else, that they can have flaws, that they can be fucked up, that they don't have to be this pristine, shining example of heroism and still be heroes in their own right and still hate us and still do heroic things. Like with Rorschach with his, you go into all that. I think it's foul, and it's not only foul, but it's a representation of shill media today and people in positions that were given these positions that don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
There you go. Doug,
you know what I mean?
I think it's you're right. It's a sign of the times that you can show up and review something without having done any goddamn research.
Yes.
Because
That's
look,
right.
I know plenty of people who are watching it without ever having read it, but it's not their goddamn job, right? If you go like, I'm gonna review this movie about Lord of the Rings, right? And I'm not even gonna read a Wikipedia page. and I'm gonna start with the Two Towers.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Fellowship of the Ring. I've never read a single Lord of the Rings book. I'm gonna review the sequel by itself, and I'm gonna not get it. That's my review. I don't get it.
That's right, Doug. That's right, Doug.
So
That's
preposterous.
exactly what I'm talking about.
Like-
These people, I think, because they have an internet connection, that they can be a critic and people will still read it.
Well, she's
but
got a
it
real
doesn't
job at a
qualify them.
paper, but that doesn't
You know?
make it matter anymore.
Yeah.
There's no vetting. There's no editors anymore. Nobody's going, hey, could you like do any work before you start typing? No, nobody cares. You know, like
No, they just fly off at the keyboard and they don't
you
put
got to
any
be
thought
fast,
into it.
not good. And so I don't care. As soon as
terrible.
she said, I've never read anything, I'm like, well, you're not a reporter, and I pull your card.
Yeah.
You are no longer allowed to talk.
Yeah, you're.
Why would you talk about something and not have any personal interest in it and care about it? I wouldn't review something that I don't give a fuck about.
That's the other thing.
You know
is
what I mean?
We're forcing people to watch things that they wouldn't choose to watch, and then listening to their opinion about it.
Yeah.
Who cares if you
that
hate
would be-
superhero
that-
movies?
that would be like me taking a vegan and then sending them to the new burger joint and be like, "Hey, eat here and tell me what you think about it."
Yeah.
Well, you
She
don't
does-
think it's terrible.
She doesn't care about the actual Watchmen story. So why should anybody value her opinion about this new iteration that isn't even anything close to Alan Moore's vision? It's not even close to, and I've never watched it. I'm just listening, and I value Hannibal's opinion. I think he did an accurate, I'm absolutely sure he did an accurate, description of what the series is about.
He's just fishing
I know
for
the
more
guy.
plunger points.
Yeah.
And I'm
No,
gonna
no,
give it
I'm
to
not.
him.
No, I mean it because I've never watched it. I haven't watched the new Watchmen.
It's.
You know,
I
that's
think
what
it's
I'm
closer
saying.
to Alan Moore's vision than you think it might
Yeah,
be.
it's closer than the movie was.
Yeah,
I'll get into
Yeah,
that
it's
later.
close.
Oh yeah,
It's
coming.
it's a lot closer. Monty, what do you think about this?
Oh, it's foul. It's foul.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with everybody. Foul. Foul.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it to the chat. Let's see what the chat has to say about this. E Green says foul. American Nightmare says foul, but I think I should get plunger points for making Monty rage quit his last live stream with Juju Bean. It lasted 8 minutes. I just brought up an observation, which was Monty equals white girls confirmed. Yeah, and you know what? American Nightmare, you are getting plunger points for that. All right. You know what? Because what I learned from Jerry Seinfeld is observational humor is the only humor that matters. Let's see.
Don't
what
make
else.
me end this stream right now.
No. Come on, we got
turn
something.
the stream around.
Yeah. Don't make me turn this stream around.
Let's see. Passionate Lobster says I was out smoking and I say foul. Jeremy M says fair. He thinks that that's fair to render that opinion. And tell me more, Jeremy M. I'd like to know why you feel like that. Dragon in the West says foul as swamp gas. E Green says where the money at though. You know, and E Green is definitely about getting that money. Destruction Inc. says foul. She's a journalist. She should do research. Someone says foul. These days, once you say journalist, I know it's just a social major from college who just couldn't get a useful job after, who hates everything due to her wasted degree. Damn, someone.
Damn, attacking their life.
Someone
Fair.
created a backstory for the journalist. That's awesome.
Fair.
Okay.
Doug calls fair on someone's comment.
Yeah,
I think someone gets plunger points from Doug. Y'all can give out plunger points. So
Yeah, y'all can also give out plunger points. That's right. Kilo says foul. If it's meant to be as a sequel, you are missing a vital part of the story. Yeah, and that's one of those things that people do. Oh, Jeremy M says he criticized Ghostbusters a few years before I saw it. Well, that's foul. You can't do that, Jeremy.
Yeah. No,
well,
you can't.
I guess that's not a matter of whether you can or can't. You probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Mike says foul. Bitch doesn't need to be talking about shit she don't know.
See?
I had already read too much of that to stop before I got into
Yeah,
it.
no, I mean that. Yeah, we talked about that. It's not even like an insight. She straight up said she didn't care about the previous content. I might have to watch it now. From what you guys said, that it's closer.
Yeah.
Like from the quick description, you guys. Like I said, I
literally
didn't
a follow up. So
Yeah,
like
it's a sequel.
It's a sequel to.
Okay.
It's a sequel to the comics.
If the comics happened in 1985 or whatever, this is 2019 in that universe. That's the premise.
I like that. I have to see it then, because then that means it's the closest thing that DC has done to honoring Alan Moore's career.
That's
what
I've seen is pretty great.
Read Lindelof's letter about why he picked, because he turned this project down 7 times or something like that, and he finally he called Alan Moore. He won't talk about what the phone call consisted of, but they had a long conversation about it. So I think that's part of why it's so good.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Because
Alan Reyes says, if it was its own thing, fair, but because it's a continuation of something else, foul. Keep in mind, I've only seen Watchmen film once. You should go watch Watchmen a couple more times.
And you should read the comic.
You should just read the comic.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, Alan Moore's version, right?
Well, for this.
The guy who created
for this,
yeah.
Dildor the Penetrator says, foul, shit's wild, wild west nowadays. If you didn't read it, you ain't shit. You don't know nothing. If you don't know something, then shut your dumb fucking mouth. Yeah, I feel that same way. Maybe not as strongly worded as that, but yeah. And look.
Maybe we should move on before we're all going down to our house.
Yeah.
Right. Hypothesis says she's allowed to have her opinion, but it's foul. She's getting paid for it. Yeah. And look, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, right now, I think this is foul, and I had a situation years ago with an ex-girlfriend's best friend. This is when the third Matrix came out, like Matrix Revolutions came out, and she was like, I want to go see this movie, and then she went and saw it, and she was like, oh, this shit's fucking trash. And, a lot of people that saw it, there was some people that liked it, but there was a lot of people that didn't like the third Matrix. So I was like, oh, I want to hear what's going on. And as I talked to her about the movie, I was like, wait a minute. Have you seen the other Matrix movies? And she was like, no, I just went and saw this one. I was like, well, why would you part 3?
Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah,
and this is one of those things that bothered me when Avengers Endgame came out.
Oh,
because I would always come across these people that would see that it was this worldwide phenomenon, and they was like, man, I want to go see this movie because I want to see what all the fuss is about. And then they would always ask the same dumbass question. They was like, well, I haven't seen any of these Marvel movies. I haven't really seen a lot of them. How many of them do I need to see in order to get what's going on in this movie? And I would always say the same thing. All of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you like, man, this Game of Thrones thing is real popular, I keep hearing about. Can like how many episodes do I need to watch before I really get what's going on? All of them. You gotta watch all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Follow it.
Episodes like 59 of a 60 episode series and be like, this shit's trash because I didn't get what was going on. That's your fucking fault, all right?
That's a great example. I love George R.R. Martin. I read all the books, but I've never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. I read the entire series.
I feel like you would hate it, but it's a great show. It's one of the greatest.
No, I've seen clips from it and stuff, and I've compared it to what I like, because I wanted to see what my imagination came up from reading the books, and I felt like a lot of the definitive scenes were very well portrayed in this, but I haven't watched any episodes.
I think you'd like the first season, and then you'd start to drift off of it afterwards.
Wait, I gotta address this. Passionate
The
Lobster.
books were amazing.
Passionate Lobster says, man, if I have to watch 25 other fucking movies to enjoy one movie, it's a garbage movie. Hannibal, that's foul. But see, here's the mistake that you made. You're thinking about movies in the very traditional sense of what movies are. What the Marvel Cinematic Universe created is essentially a bunch of TV shows that are disguised as movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. With movie budgets.
So you're talking about watching the season finale of like it would be like watching the last Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, it's like it's like if I have to watch this entire season of Frasier to get the joke at the season finale, that season finale's trash. No.
Actually, that's the best joke ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that's the joke that the season's been building up to. Because none of the other shit really tied together. It just loosely tied together.
Yeah.
But they told the big joke.
That's the
in
other
that finale.
thing you have to remember, is only the Avengers movies require you to watch any of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Every other movie, you can watch just the Thor movies, just the Iron Man movies, just the Captain America movies, and you can basically follow them except for maybe Civil War.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Civil War, you can still follow it.
Yeah. Oh, you can follow Civil War without the other stuff.
It just might not be as great
if
you don't know who these fucking people are.
Yeah.
But then they changed. Yeah, they
like
changed
I
it.
said, the way Disney put these shits together, it's like they're not really movies. These are it's like going to see like it's like binge watching 2 or 3 episodes of a TV show at the same time. And every year they give you 3 or 4 episodes of this series.
It's the return of the serial.
Yeah.
Like this is how Flash Gordon used to be. You know, this is how everything used to be. You didn't have TV. You went to the theater and watched a series of like short films, basically.
True.
Once a month. You'd get a new Flash Gordon.
I was fine with it until somebody made a decision to put a potbelly on the God of Thunder, and then I was just like, "Who's fucking greenlighting shit over
All
there?"
right,
It's
you know
like
what, Ryan
Weekend at
Palmer?
Bernie's.
Ryan
Like somebody
Palmer?
died.
Ryan Palmer, you can shut the fuck up right now. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's the best.
No,
that's
fuck
the
that
best
shit.
part
No,
of
that
the
was
whole movie.
No, please, come on, Thor.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Seriously.
You know why
Thor,
it worked?
out of
You know
potbelly.
why it worked? Because Thor learned how to still be the God of Thunder.
Even though he had
he was still worthy. He had that moment where he reached out for his hammer, and he's so excited because he was still worthy. He was still Thor, and his body didn't fucking matter. That was the whole point of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then what can I aspire to? Like, if someday I want to be a god, I
can
want to feel like I can eat whatever I want. and my body's gonna
Here's what
still
you
be
do.
awesome.
You can aspire to be worthy, to be a good enough person. You take care of yourself eventually. Like, I love that Thor never became super fit Thor again. He was still fucking fat Thor, and he whooped Thanos' fucking ass.
Well, no, he actually didn't whip Thor's ass. Like when he was fit Thor in
Captain America.
Infinity War, he kicked ass. When he was fat Thor, he struggled. That's because his cardio was fucked up.
Yeah.
He didn't,
That's true. That's
sugary foods, and fried shit. That's all.
Yeah.
I think you missed something. The best scene in Endgame was when Captain America had the shield and took up Mjolnir. I mean, that was the best fucking scene in the movie. I'm sorry, but it was.
Oh, it was.
I'm
with you on that.
On the
Fat
opposite
Thor's the
spectrum,
best
too, we're
part
talking
of the
about
movie.
movies like.
I'm
that
not
was
talking about a
sick.
scene. I'm talking
And
about the concept.
Yes.
Fat Thor is the best part of that second half.
Yeah, well, the thing about Fat Thor is Disney was like, all right, we got a lot of overweight white guys that fucking love these movies, but we don't have no costume for them. Oh wait, we got something. See, that was a financial decision that they made, and it was fucking brilliant.
Sorry, I have to disagree with you guys, and I love you guys. You guys are fucking smart dudes. I love you. I gotta say, the best part of Endgame was seeing Thanos come to a finality. That was the best part of that film. I gotta say, even for the boys, I remember at the end of the film before, when at the ending, like when Thanos was there, my 10-year-old, he's a 10-year-old now. At the end, I remember him saying this exactly in this tone: "No." when Thanos defeated the Avengers, and then this new movie, and to see that come to a culmination was probably the best. Yeah. I felt that was the best part of the movie.
I literally just watched Infinity War and Endgame back to back in the last 24 hours, and rewatching that shit again, I was like, yeah, these two movies together back to back was incredible. This shit was awesome.
It's one movie, really.
Yeah.
It's one massive
and look,
movie.
I have to say this because I'm looking at our time. We're 2 hours into this motherfucking show. We have talked about one fucking movie.
Oh, you know what? I might have to skip my other fair file and let's just okay. I'll skip my other fair file was from Breitbart anyway, so it's not going anywhere.
Yes, we have talked about a total of one fucking movie. So let's talk about Watchmen.
Let's talk about Watchmen. Monty, you're first on this one. What did you and everybody in the chat? Let us know what you guys think. Wait, before we get into this, we got a couple of Streamlabs that came in. Dragon in the West said, "Here's some cash just because." Also, have either of you watched The Expanse on Amazon? If not, check it. Also, Merry fucking Christmas, y'all. Merry Christmas to you too, Dragon in the West. I have seen The Expanse up until season 2. I'm a sci-fi geek, so if it's sci-fi, I'm gonna check it out. Like I've been watching some of those obscure weird joints. I watched this French version of War of the Worlds the other day that I did not enjoy.
There you go. See?
You know, and also let's see, Alan Reyes said oh no, we already read that one. Penultimate also sent us all his grades. He says, "Gotta head out, but here are my grades for tonight's movies, y'all. Watchmen B, Rocketeer C-, Kick-Ass B+, Logan A, Scott Pilgrim versus the World B+." I almost agree with all your grades.
All right.
Almost, but I'll say which ones I disagree with in a second. Montel, what did you think about The Watchmen?
Watchmen. I fucking love this movie. And I said it on the little show. I will say it again here. This is probably, no, not still to this day. This is one of my favorite comic book movies. One of my favorite comic book movies. I'm going to get it all out. You sit quiet and listen to this shit. This movie, I fucking love. I thought this movie was beautifully done. I've got my gripes with it. Like, I miss the squid monster. I understand why the squid monster's not there. I enjoyed this. This movie was fucking fun. Like, this is almost exactly what I would want from being a fan of the comic going into it. This movie, and I'm gonna keep it short because it's not my 3 minutes. I give this movie. This is my last A+ right here.
Ooh, okay.
This is it. So there you
all
go.
Right.
And with
Monty.
that, I'm gonna pass it right over to Doug.
Oh, this is about 3 minutes.
Doug's taking his 3 minutes.
The wrath of Doug.
Yes. And just so that everybody knows, I think I explained it earlier. This is Doug's 3 minutes. I'm about to start his timer. You get 3 minutes to rant uninterrupted. And when you'll hear the Mario sounds that I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yeah.
When Mario dies, your time's up.
There you go.
So here you go. Take it away, Doug.
All right. Matthew Good and the performance are entirely wrong for Ozymandias, and he's basically twirling a mustache for the entire movie. By the way, I give this a C+. I think it's almost good. And this is the ratings you guys gave me, right? So they took away the curly blonde hair, which is the like sort of disarming and nice looking hair, and gave him basically Hitler, but blonde. He's the only person that could be in the opening. So when you show the murder, it gives away who's the villain from the very beginning, and there's literally nobody else you could suspect if you actually think about it. Zack Snyder does not know how to tell a story, so he's very good visually, but he doesn't know how to pace out the story. He cuts out the wrong stuff. He believes in the wrong stuff. If you watch his ultimate cut, it's significantly better, but there's still all these problems, like you shouldn't show the murder. There's a reason Alan Moore didn't show that. The squid is absolutely necessary. When I saw the movie the first time in the theater, I thought, oh, that was a brilliant way to avoid just absolutely confused. I understand why you don't want to put the squid in the movie. However, it's necessary because 2 seconds, if you just take 2 steps out of the theater and think about Dr. Manhattan being responsible, it falls apart immediately. Why? Because it's not an external threat. It's an American. It's one of the biggest lines in the entire book is God is real and he's an American. So the idea that an American blew up an American city does nothing. Timothy McVeigh did not unite the planet Earth. Okay? So, and then the slow-mo is basically Snyder's lens flares. I'm so sick of it, I can't take it anymore. The Hallelujah sex scene is the worst sex scene I've ever seen in my entire life. It's completely unnecessary. The scene set to Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, of all things, which is the least sexy voice you could ever possibly fuck to. Mostly, it's because underneath it all, the structure of Watchmen is a murder mystery. And if you don't understand the basic story you're supposed to be telling, the movie can visually hit all the beats and just drop the ball entirely. He's not doing a mystery. You're not even wondering who Rorschach is. And you're not wondering who these guys... There's a guy wandering around haunting the whole movie who's obviously Rorschach. I think this movie is the opposite of the series, which is that it is only good if you already know the material. Whereas I feel like the series,
All right. You still got 30 seconds.
All right. That's basically it. I think it's just visually good, so it gets a C+.
All right.
But
Well,
I also kind of blame Alan Moore for not helping.
But what was? Wait, hang on.
Jesus fucking Christ, that was great, Doug. Holy fuck! You guys want me to follow George Carlin? You know what the fuck? I'm gonna go home right now. All right.
Look,
all right, you guys have a good night. Have a good laugh.
Doug claimed his 3 minutes on that, and
I mean that was about as thorough as a person could get.
Yeah,
on
I got stuff to
on the
say,
comic,
but
the movie adapt. Go ahead.
Yeah, what did you think, Ryan Palmer? Once I find the logo.
I think Doug dissected the fuck out of that movie. I mean, he hit every point. But on my end of it, as far as Watchmen, I enjoyed the movie, and I think that I enjoyed this the story that Alan Moore created. I understand there were some discrepancies when things go to movies, but then again, Alan Moore lost the rights to his film, and that's why it got skewed some. And that's a tragedy. That's a tragedy. And as a person who creates something, and I'm still aspiring, that hurts. I can imagine what that would feel like, and that's why I've taken steps to make sure that shit would never happen to me. We've learned that from him at his tragic expense in this new age as creators. But that aside, I remember when the movie came out and I saw it, and I have to say I didn't enjoy the entire movie, but I enjoyed the portrayal of Rorschach and the lines from Alan Moore's writing and his character, and I thought that part of it was exciting. I thought Dr. Manhattan. I liked the scenes and I liked the visual, just like Doug said. But then there are a lot of other comic book movies that I like more. Animated comic book movies that I like more than Watchmen. So I have to give it a B.
All right.
I gotta say, a respectful B. I enjoyed it visually, just like that. I think he nailed it when he said that it was a very good movie. But obviously there were some holes in the plot, and so that's why I give it.
All right. Hannibal, what about you?
So the Watchmen is the most divisive comic book movie ever made, right? And I know people might be like, oh, well, what about Black Panther? What about Captain Marvel? That's because you guys are young and stupid and don't know any better. No, the Watchmen is the most divisive comic book movie because the source material is beloved. The source material is beloved. And when you love something that
better
much,
than the movie.
Yeah. Look, and you know what? I'm glad you said that, Monty. I'm glad you interrupted me so I could go ahead and say this point, right? No. I'm genuinely glad that you did that. I am one of the few people that is a comic enthusiast, right? I'm a fan of comic books. I love comic book films. I love the genre. I have never read that book before. I have never read The Watchmen. I've never gotten around to it.
All right.
Never read it. Never, ever. I know how good it is. I know the story. Like, before the movie came out, I knew everything about this shit. And I've never read it before. When I saw the movie, I fucking love this movie. Watchmen is my second favorite comic book movie of all time. And I feel like I can make a very good case for it. Like, look, I love the deconstruction of the superhero archetype. I think that shit is brilliant. And this isn't what the movie is, but just permit me for a second. What if Batman lost his shit and was just like, fuck the law, I'm going to do what I want to do whenever I want to do it? What if Superman was like, I'm so powerful, I don't give a shit about anything, right? What if these things took place? You know what I'm saying? This is what The Watchmen is. That's not what The Watchmen is, but that's what it is. It's what happens if this person just stopped giving a shit and did whatever the fuck they wanted. That this is the movie. It breaks down the superhero archetype and creates its own narrative, and it creates this unique and wonderful universe for it. And it's like, look, it being I think Doug has some very good points. That it's like whenever I talk to comic book purists about this, if you love the source material for this, there's a lot of people that love that comic, that love that graphic novel, that fucking hate this movie because this movie is not that graphic novel. And I learned a long time ago, you got to separate one from the other. Like, I'm a huge fan of the X-Men. My favorite storyline growing up was X-Men Days of Future Past. Did Fox get that story right? Fuck no, they got it. They got it all wrong. They just was making shit up at certain points. That didn't stop the movie from being awesome, though.
All right,
and that's it. I think The Watchmen is incredible. I think it's a fantastic movie, and it's one of those movies that like I recommend to everybody and over and over again. I gave that movie an A+.
All right. So that's two A pluses. But I'll say this.
That.
I'll say this because I'm sure Doug has. I see Doug itching over here.
Look, this is one that we always argue on. It's like whenever I talk to comic purists, this is what we argue about. Is Watchmen.
But can I mention something real quick about Watchmen, about Alan Moore and stuff? I got a really cool perspective personally on Watchmen and Alan Moore's work because Paris, who works with us, Monty, who worked at DC, he created the Blue Devil, and he did a very definitive run on Blue Beetle, right? I speak with him on a regular basis. I did my first convention ever with him. He came up from New York to represent for our studio, right? And I talked with him, and he worked at DC with Alan Moore. He did Alan Moore books. He did Grant Morrison books. He worked there during that time, but like pre-Watchmen and post-Watchmen. And when I started looking into Alan Moore and I talked with him. I referred to him because, you get a guy, he did the artwork. He didn't write the books, but he read all the scripts, and he didn't have the hype. None of the magic, none of the hocus pocus hype. He read the scripts and drew from them and worked from books from these dudes, right? And so what I wanted to say is that from that time, in Watchmen, when it came out, Alan Moore was treated wrongly with his contract, but he should have represented himself maybe a little bit better. It's hard today. I'd like to have him more involved. You hear from somebody who knows the guy. You hear the passion from a creator, and then you see what happens today. I've seen videos fucking today of Alan Moore after the fact, and it's painful. It hurts. If you create something, you want to be a part of it going forward, and anything afterwards, after anything that he endorsed, it just feels like somewhat, like I said before when I talked about Disney, I talked about Mickey Mouse playing with someone else's toys. It feels like DC playing with someone else's dick. It's just, fuck it. I mean, this movie I have so much mixed feelings about it. I watched it before I learned all this, and I loved the movie when it came out like Hannibal loved it. It was an A+ when I first saw the movie. And then afterwards, seeing it and hearing about Alan Moore's work and then reading Alan Moore's work, and then afterwards, that's what degraded it for me. I matured and then had my opinions about that film. It's just,
I think the movie is great, and I think it gets because the source material is what it is. I see why people hate it. Go ahead, Monty.
No, I just want to. I just want to pull all this together before we hit the next thing. I'm
gonna drink some more alcohol and go off subject.
Do your thing. Yeah. I agree and disagree with all of you. I think. I think
you
because.
Like that?
No,
you didn't say nothing.
No, and here's why. I'll start with Hannibal. With Hannibal because I also gave this movie an A+. But I think you should familiarize yourself with the source material. Because look,
I definitely should, and I definitely will. I even suggested, we even talked about making the comic of the week be the Watchmen, be Watchmen before we did this episode.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely want to read it.
Yeah, like this ties into your fair or foul. Do the fucking research, Hannibal. But that being said, as I said when you were talking about it, the source material is better than the movie. Which brings me to where I disagree with Doug. The movie's still an A fucking plus. The movie is what it is. The movie works as what it is. I miss the squid, but I think it's fine without it. Would it be better without it? Yes, but I think the movie would have to be 3 hours longer. And
I like that. That's a fair opinion. You backed it up.
Yeah, and then Ryan, I don't know. Yes, I'm with the struggle. I get that.
My thing is, I don't think it works on its own.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the ultimate cut does, as usual with Zack Snyder, but I think the theatrical is weird and off center and weak, and I think ultimately the new ending doesn't hold up to multiple viewings. Right. If you really think about it.
It's held up to me, and I got a couple friends that are comic book that aren't comic book enthusiasts, but they enjoy the genre of comic book films that love the Watchmen. That thing, like Ace Wonder thinks that movie is incredible.
I like the movie Signs.
And he's not a comic book reader, and he never read the source material.
I like the movie Signs, but those aliens came to a planet made of water. It ultimately doesn't hold up. Like the concept falls apart upon thought.
And here's the thing. I 100% agree with you on the Dr. Manhattan thing. That's what I said the moment I walked out of the theater. I was like, I get that you couldn't put the giant squid in, but you could have come up with something better than that. The Dr. Manhattan thing does not work. There is no fucking way that brings the world together.
Which makes Ozymandias stupid or crazy.
Because in the movie they established that. Manhattan is America's problem. I agree with that. That is a huge fucking flaw in that movie.
And I think it's obvious. It's obviously more obvious if you've read the book, because you have this alternate thing presented to you, and then you have to swallow the new ending as opposed to being the first thing that you experience.
But I think that's the issue with it, is that you guys have the source material there that's burned into your mind. It's not burned into my mind.
No, but Hannibal, it's like me saying, look at that wall. It's brown because it was on fire. And you're like, no, that's only because you've seen fire before. This is just logic, Hannibal.
Well,
wait, hang on. Listen. If they establish Dr. Manhattan as the American nuclear weapon, and America's nuclear weapon goes crazy, does that bring the world together?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I'm going to offer a reason. I'm going to offer you a reason that you're going to reject.
Okay. Great. Okay.
Bring it.
Is it going to be because it's wrong?
The reason it works is what they do is now you've separated Dr. Manhattan from the rest of humanity. Because now he's this super entity that no one can control. Now the Americans can't control him. You guys already didn't control him. We can't control him. Now he's this thing that's separate from everything else. And it's like, look, he didn't just kick y'all ass. He kicked our ass too. He's a problem for everybody.
So Donald Trump's going to bring the world together. Is what you're saying.
It presented an unstoppable.
Well, so the way it works, Monty. Hold on, Ryan Palmer. The way it works is, bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times.
Yeah,
that's the cycle.
Have you talked to people from other countries? Like we're bullshit. Like we are. If we create a weapon that kills us. Look what those fuckers did. That's not bringing us together.
All right.
As a planet.
But I said in the beginning, it's one of those things that I knew you weren't gonna accept it. But I think
because it's wrong. Because it's fucking wrong, Hannibal.
I got you.
Also, there's one other
personally,
problem I just want to throw out there is they made every hero in there ultra-violent and kind of super strong. And that defeats the purpose of the entire structure of the story. Now, that's being a purist, but it also is the point. When you elevate everybody else to breaking arms and holding them as human shields while they get murdered and shoving knives into their necks, Rorschach looks tame, and he's supposed to be terrifying. He's Batman with no rules, and you're supposed to not like him. It's this weird problem where when he becomes a hero, that's just there's no caveat to that.
But that's where I disagree with you because I still saw Rorschach as a piece of shit while watching this movie.
But he was portrayed as a bastard, but then in the end he was eliminated
He
for
has more merit
the so-called
than-
good of the
than
planet. You know what I
negatives.
mean?
And then Night
Yeah,
Owl and
absolutely.
Silk Spectre, the two people who are supposed to just be regular people in costumes, are literally murdering people in that alley efficiently. and that is crossing a line that you shouldn't cross. And comedians shouldn't be able to punch through a wall. Because the whole point is Dr. Manhattan's literally the only actual power in the entire world. Everybody else is real. And this is what I want to say. Watchmen as its own movie, ignoring the source material, might get a B for me. Okay? As an adaptation, that has to be incorporated.
Grade down there as a B.
No, because adaptation has to be incorporated when you're adapting.
And
And I would say spirit-wise, you know how we were talking about Wolverine, the Hugh Jackman not looking the part but showing up with Wolverine's soul in his performance. Joker is a better Watchmen movie than the Watchmen movie. It tonally is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's set in the right, like that 70s gritty. If you go watch Taxi Driver and then reread Rorschach's opening monologue, you'll see it's very Scorsese.
Hey, thank you, Sharp Silver.
Yes.
Sharp Seller. I apologize. Sharp Seller.
I gotta say, it's very hard to follow Doug on this because Doug obviously
I have literally
knows his shit,
re-edited
and
this movie to be better and to be under 4 hours.
Yes,
And-
like I said,
And I
I
can tell it feels
have
strongly
no exposure
about
to
it.
the source
like it.
material, and I went in and saw
like
this
it.
movie blind, and the shit was incredible.
Look,
I
it's visually stunning.
everything.
Yes.
But this is the most divisive of all the superhero films.
Yeah.
More than Black Panther, more than Captain Marvel. This one right here. This is the one that we fight about that we nerds fight about the most.
Because this is divisive on its own terms, not some social justice people being trained to hate each other on something. Like Captain Marvel pisses people off because it's feminist. That's political. That has nothing to do with the movie. You know, this is like people arguing about the movie.
No, they're not arguing about the movie. They're arguing about the source material versus the movie. Because that's what we're arguing
But
about.
I have a list of things that have nothing to do with the source material that I just named.
But
Matthew Good is
you
a
are still
villain.
comparing it to
He
the source
bungled the
material.
mystery.
It's
a mystery story.
But you said it yourself. If you weren't comparing it to the source material, it might get a B. But because you're comparing it to the source material, it gets a C+.
Yeah.
And look, I think.
Well, if they didn't want to be compared to the source material, they shouldn't have called it Watchmen.
Yes, and I think.
And look, I agree with that as well. But Monty said something years ago, and somebody in the chat asked this question. He says, who do you guys think would have made a better version of this movie? And Monty has said multiple times, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that The Watchmen should not be a movie. It should be a TV series.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because you need to flesh this out over time. Because this story there's too much story to try to jam.
There's so much
into,
world.
into 2 hours.
Yeah, and I will say this before we go on to the next segment, because we're burning precious time. And this is to you, Hannibal, because this is Hannibal and Monty shit show. So I'm going to end it there and give you some space to reply before we move.
Go for it.
Going along with your fair or foul, before you complain about the source material being the problem that makes us complain, you need to read the fucking source material.
No, I agree. But in this context though, let's be clear. Let's be like crystal clear.
Yes.
The journalist was joining a story that was already in progress.
Yes.
And then grading what she saw.
Yes.
Okay. The Watchmen story, the Watchmen film, starts at the beginning of that movie.
Yeah.
And ends at the beginning of that movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me.
That's the point. That was the point I was making.
Well, I'll break it down to you this way real quick. Let's say I hand you a flubberjub cake.
Okay. I love flubberjub cake.
Yeah, I'm like, no, you've never had flubberjub cake. Here's a flubberjub cake.
Okay.
You just ate it.
I love it already.
You just ate it and you fucking love it. But I just copied a recipe from a brand new cookbook on making a flubberjub cake. The chef that originally made the flubberjub cake lets you taste the flubberjub cake 3 days later. And this is what this fucking cake's supposed to taste like. This is perfection for this cake.
Mm-hmm.
Can you not admit that the cake that I made is not as good as that cake? And this is how it's supposed to be done? Can you not then see the flaws in that cake?
Yeah. No,
Monty, can it be flubberjub pizza instead? I don't like cake.
It can be pizza. It can be pizza.
I'll imagine it to be.
No,
okay.
no, it's not pizza.
It's fucking cake. It's fucking cake, Ryan.
The original story.
Motherfucker. You crossed the line.
You can't just
I'm not
go
saying
changing
I
things.
don't. I'm not saying I don't understand why you guys are as passionate about it as you are. What I'm saying is, for somebody who's never had flubberjub cake, okay, like you've had it from the source, okay?
Yes.
Like I experienced Mardi Gras as it happens in Des Moines, Iowa, and I had a great time. And y'all saying, no, that Mardi Gras is trash. Our Mardi Gras is better. What I'm saying is your Mardi Gras might be better, and I still enjoyed their trash version of it.
Yeah. And look, and I'm not saying you're wrong. Like, I don't know if you get the position I'm standing on here, where I agree with both you and Doug, and both disagree with both you and Doug.
What are you disagreeing with me about?
I gave this fucking movie an A+.
Where's the disagreement with me?
Well, how come you didn't disagree with me? I feel left out.
Because you white and he doesn't disagree with white people. He loves you guys. You guys are awesome.
Oh,
you know what?
Right.
You know what? Hannibal.
I disagree with the person with the Christmas tree behind them.
Yeah, you know what, Hannibal? I don't care about what both you and Ryan said. So here we go.
Now in a desperate attempt to fill 24 hours of programming, here's some bullshit that happened. We've got some footage here of the bullshit, which began just after 3 o'clock this afternoon.
All right, don't hit the Christmas tree. I'm about 5 feet away from throwing it out the yard.
This is bullshit.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
That's bullshit, Gary!
Okay, music stops.
Send the beat, fucking with you. Yep. Little stupid ass, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, bitch. I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
Yes. How about that for a fucking segue?
Shit we don't care about. So the way shit we don't care about works, to all the mutants and metahumans in our chat, to all the guys and gals, all the geeks and nerds, fucking everybody that exists in our chat. Fucking the way shit we don't care about works, just like Fair File, every day I do a deep dive on the news, and then I come across these stories, and when I come across these stories, I wonder to myself sometimes, who gives a shit? Like, who cares about this story? And I come across these stories all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you guys a headline, and you let me know if you give a shit or if you don't give a shit. Now, I'm going to, keep an eye on the chat. So if you guys care about a story, right, then you have to put a hashtag and then the name of the story that you care about. And if enough of y'all care, how many people we got watching right now? We got 40 people watching.
And they're already starting with the pumpkins. Destruction Inc. with the pumpkins.
If we get 10 people to say that you guys, that's 25%, right?
Yeah.
Did I do that right? I don't think I did that right.
Nope,
I don't think my math is right on
43,
that.
but yeah,
That's fine. If we get 10 people that say that they care about a story, I will read the entire story. But if you guys don't care, then I'm gonna just move on to the next bit. I was trying to talk until Ryan Palmer got back.
This segment's rigged anyway. Just go. Oh shit! I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Damn it, Montel. So, because the next story we're going to talk about is about Kick-Ass, I made it a point to make all the stories about the movie Kick-Ass, well, the cast of Kick-Ass. So, here we go. The first story comes from dailymail.uk. Chloe Grace Moretz keeps things casual and goes free. Wait. I read that all the way wrong. Wait. Chloe Grace Moretz keeps things casual, goes makeup free, and dons beanie hat.
I don't care.
I don't care at all.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't care.
I stopped carrying a Daily Mail, but go on. Yeah.
Okay.
What's
Well,
next?
hold on. Well, Ryan Palmer, I'm going to read it to you to give you a chance, and everybody in the chat, give y'all a chance to respond. I'm going to read you a headline, and you got to let me know if you give a shit, if you don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? If enough people give a shit, I'll read the story. If you don't give a shit, then I'll move on to the next thing. So this story comes from dailymail.uk, and it's Chloe Grace Moretz. She's got the worst name in all of Hollywood. All right, like I used to think Chloe Sevigny, the girl from Gummo. I used to think she had the dumbest name in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? But nah, it's Chloe Grace Moretz. Chloe Grace Moretz keeps things casual, goes makeup free, dons beanie hat.
I don't care.
Do you care, Ryan Palmer?
Yes. And we're losing Doug. Doug has to dip out, by the way. Thanks for stopping in, Doug.
Thank you guys for having me.
Oh,
yes.
well, Doug, you got to
I got
finish
a
your grades for
baby
the rest.
in your house.
Oh,
so.
I have his grades right here. He came prepared, but he is part of the New Father Club, and his child is not happy right now.
No.
So
Losing its mind up there.
yes.
Well, tell your baby to get a job.
Yeah, Hannibal said, "Tell your baby to get a job." He took it. You can just
She
walk
just got
across
fired.
me.
That's why she's so upset.
Yes.
There we go. Ryan Palmer, do you have an opinion on that story that I just closed out?
Oh, come on through.
Ryan Palmer, is your mic muted, Ryan Palmer? I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is muted. Yeah, no.
There we
Sorry
go.
about that. Yeah, no, I don't care about that. That's Jesus Christ, that's another world. That's not my world.
Yes. Again, thanks for coming out, Doug. It was awesome.
Here we go.
Doug's checking out. All right.
The next story comes from mansionglobal.com.
I don't care.
I didn't even
Doug's
read
a
the
great
story.
guy. You guys are right. Doug's awesome.
Yes,
Yeah,
Doug's
Doug
a
is
badass.
Yeah, I like him. I was talking with, like I said before in the pre-show, I was talking with Monty on the phone, and I wanted to get introduced to him, and I had a busy week, so I wasn't able to do that. But he's a great guy. He's a smart dude too.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I like it.
This next story
like
comes
it.
from mansionglobal.com. The story goes, the headline goes, Malibu house once belonging to Nicolas Cage asks for $30 million.
I do not care.
Whoa. Wait a minute. I mean, I don't care about the headline, but $30 million fucking dollars.
Yeah,
for
a 4,000 square foot property that was recently remodeled.
Whoa. Who?
See, Ryan's gonna do it. He's gonna.
Dude, $30 million. 30. That's an M, right?
Don't fall for it, Ryan. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it.
I couldn't help it. I just heard it. I heard an M. Man, that's a sexy number. $30 million. Come on, man. That's woo. No, I don't care. Because that's not my world, you know. But if I had that kind of money to throw, can you imagine having $30 million to throw around?
Yeah.
Imagine slinging $30 million and be like, yeah. I mean, what kind of vehicle would you have to show up with that?
Oh man, I would just if I could sling around $30. If I could just be like, hey, everybody in Taco Bell, tacos on me. But not the Dorito shell ones, like regular ass tacos.
Don't fuck
all right,
around with that
regular ass kangaroo meat Taco Bell tacos.
Yes.
Dude, when we started, I was talking with the artist for Haven Saints 8, and we made a pact that when we land funding, that Jesse and him and we're gonna go for tacos.
There you
All of us,
go.
and
See?
buy tacos.
There you go. The next story
you
comes
mentioned that.
from, no, you good. The next story comes from stereogum.com. Stereogum. It says Christopher Mintz-Plasse on his new band Bear on Fire.
I don't care.
I don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't care about Christopher Mintz-Plasse's new band?
No.
Holy fuck! I don't even know what that is.
No.
Okay. All right.
What universe is that from? Is that from our universe? Or?
Yeah, it's from Earth 616. That's where that line came from. The next story comes from justjared.com. Just Jared.
Okay.
Or doubleJ.com. You can either or. Aaron Taylor Johnson and wife Sam couple up while out in London. Aaron Taylor Johnson and wife Sam couple up while out in London.
Nope. I don't care. Not at all.
You don't care about Aaron Taylor Johnson and wife?
No.
Is it the Aaron Taylor Johnson part, or is it that you don't care about his wife, or is it the London?
Yeah,
Which part?
that's what it is, Hannibal. We hate what his parents named him.
Yes.
That's it. That's why we hate him.
Why'd you give him 3 names? All right.
Yeah.
And the last one comes from page6.com. Halsey makes relationship with Evan Peters Instagram official.
Nope. The only time I cared about Halsey's relationship is when Eminem said, "It's because you're salty because young Gerald's balls deep inside of Halsey." It's the only time I cared.
You know what, Zoe? Give Monty plunger points for accurately quoting Eminem lyrics.
You guys can give plunger points. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
even know that.
yeah.
Was fucking awesome.
We give all of our plunger points away at the torture episode.
So they're coming from your pool, you're saying? They're coming from your own brand?
All the plunger points we accrue throughout the month, we give away to 2 lucky shitheads on the torture episode.
We give them away.
Yeah.
And all right. Well, that being said, that was all the shit we don't care about. Now the question is, Luna says she doesn't care, but I love that line.
Yeah. Yes. So before we get to the other segment, we still got to talk about Kick-Ass.
Well, yeah, I was about to segue into it. So let's talk about Kick-Ass. What grade did Doug give it? I guess
Doug gave Kick-Ass a B+.
A B+? Okay.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. And
awesome.
I can
Ryan
read
Paul-
Doug's notes. He said a little too faithful. Miller works a better inspiration than direct stuff. Juvenile, see number 1, and better at the time, hasn't aged as well. Those are his notes.
And those are his notes, and that's hard. Doug's a smart guy, I imagine. He analyzed it from the comic adaptation.
Yeah, but
for me,
oh no,
it's
go. I'll come after you. Go. It's actually your turn. Take it away, Ryan Palmer.
Oh, I was just gonna say, that was great. Assessment of the movie, and just from what I've seen from Doug, I'm sure he did his research. He knows the film. He wouldn't comment on that. But I saw, from what I saw, Kick-Ass. It was cool. It wasn't really my. It wasn't something that I would say that. It's hard. It was a good film. I don't want to knock it because it's a feel-good film, but it wasn't the kind of intellectual film that I look for, and something with a depth that I want. But it was cool, and I like Nicolas Cage in it. And honestly, like seeing, I saw like I wanted to say that it sucks because I like the actor too, the main character. It was cool. I don't want to diss him too hard, but I gotta give it a C. It wasn't in my ballpark.
All right.
I didn't really like it. That was hard for me to say.
Oh, it's all right.
Because, because I know I didn't want to. I didn't want to, because I like a lot of the films that have been acted.
All right.
I like a lot of films like that are feel good films, I guess, but just I don't know. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop it there.
No, that's fair enough. Hannibal, what do you have to say about Kick-Ass?
When I first saw this movie, I thought it was dope. When I first saw it in the theaters, I thought this was a dope ass movie. I like the idea of the film. That was like, what if somebody really tried to be a superhero in real life? How would that shit work out? And then he's like, yeah, he probably get his fucking ass kicked, and then he tries to become a superhero and then gets his ass kicked, but in the process of it, he ends up doing some good and then, actually making things better. And it ended up panning out to be a really good movie. And when I saw it, I was like, man, this is a really good movie that I completely forgot about. And then I rewatched it again and I was like, this is a really good movie. And I understand why I forgot about it. Like it's like all the pieces are there for it. Like Matthew Vaughn, the director, he's the guy who did Kingsman. He's also the guy who did X-Men First Class. Matthew Vaughn is a fantastic director. He's got a great eye for action. I like the way the story's told. I like the casting. I don't know if you guys realized that at a certain point in this movie, but both Quicksilvers are in this movie at the same time. The fucking Avengers Quicksilver and X-Men Quicksilver they're fucking best friends in this goddamn movie. It's insane. Also, I thought McLovin was a good bad guy. Mark Strong, he's always the bad guy. I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I gave it a B+.
All right.
And Chloe Grace Moretz and as Hit Girl was awesome.
Yes.
Like when she goes on her murdering sprees and then they play like those classic rock songs and shit in the background, that shit works. It all the dots connected. I gave it a B+.
All right.
I think it's a really good movie. The reason I didn't give it a low A is just because I saw this movie, forgot about it, watched it again, fell in love with it again, and I'm gonna forget about it again.
All right. Well,
but I thoroughly enjoyed Kick-Ass.
Yeah, I'll follow up with that. I'll just lead with my grade. I went with an A on this.
Okay.
I still, this is only my second time seeing this movie. I found it more memorable than you did, actually, because I remember I knew it was coming every time. I'm like, oh yeah, and then this is gonna happen. Then this is gonna happen, and I still enjoyed that shit like it was the first time. Like, this came out, funny story, and I always, like, I joke around with, I haven't done it on the show, but I've joked around with people when the first time I saw this movie and he got into his very first fight and they stabbed him. I said that line before Andrew Garfield and Spider-Man. I, in the theater, screamed out, "No, not knives, my only weakness," as he was laying on the ground after he got stabbed. Because I was like, it made me laugh because they go through all this thing where he suits up and he's like, yeah, I'm about to be a badass on the streets. And he gets stabbed his first time out. Fucking brilliant. It added some realness to it. I was like, yes, this movie is still as great as it always was. I love it.
I think this is a great movie. And even watching it, when I was looking at my grades, I was like, I felt like I should give it an A. Yeah. I was like, no, this might be an A movie because it's a great film. There's a couple little pieces in there that kind of fucked with me. Like, that was kind of like, all right, I'm not like, and the big thing that fucked with me was like, all right, this dude ordered us a scuba costume, right, off of Amazon. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then decides to go fight crime, and it becomes this viral sensation. I mean, couldn't they have just tracked the scuba gear purchase to whoever lived in New York at that time? Was it like a large preponderance of people buying scuba gear? You know what I'm saying? In mid-October? Is that a thing that happens? You know, and it was and Nicolas Cage and Hit Girl said it. It was like, yeah, we found you based on your IP address.
Yeah.
Like you were not hard to find at all. So that aspect of it, I was like, that's kind of, and the way they kind of wrapped up the ending with the cute little bow, I was like, all right, that's trash. But the scene where Nicolas Cage gets burned alive, no, he wasn't using Ecstasy Bell said he used NordVPN. He definitely wasn't using NordVPN because the nigga had his shit on MySpace. All right, he wasn't using NordVPN to protect his MySpace page. I can guarantee you he wasn't using that shit. All right, but the scene where Nicolas Cage and Kick-Ass get caught and they're getting tortured on live on online. Right? And they burn Nicolas Cage alive while Hit Girl has to save the day and watch her father die while he's shouting instructions at her is one of the best scenes in a comic book movie ever made, period. That scene is fucking incredible. Everything about it, the way it's shot, the style of it, the choreography, the acting, everything about that shit was awesome. That's a great scene. That's a great fucking scene in the movie.
Yeah, see, that's one of my least favorite scenes.
And Monty and I do this all the time. It'll be like we'll have like very close opinions on the shit, and whatever the thing is I love is the thing that he hates, and the thing that he loves.
And you know why? It's because whenever I see that scene, I see Nicolas Cage screaming, "The bees! The bees are in my eyes! Not the bees!" That was terrible too.
Yeah,
like Nicolas Cage always ends up in those scenes where Nicolas Cage is a terrible screamer.
I've never been on fire, so I'm not going to judge him on his scream. I got to be. I thought that scene was incredible. I think everything about that scene was
all right. That's fair.
Awesome.
I won't fight you anymore on it. So that's fine. That's fine.
All right. So there we go.
Yeah.
So now that we've talked about the shit that we don't care about, and we've talked about the movie Kick-Ass, Monty, maybe you have some shit.
Hang on. I'm sorry. I dropped the ball a little bit. Give me
take a second. I'll go through because the chat was dropping off some grades too. So I want to
check the chat grades real quick while I fix this.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna get to that in a second. I think that's hilarious. Let's see. I want to get all to the first. Who's the first person that talked about? Let's see. Pumpkins. There we go. American Nightmare gave it a B+. All right. Mike gave Kick-Ass an A. Really? You know what? I'm not fucked up by anybody giving it an A because I think because I started to give it an A. I seriously leaned into giving it an A, and then I kind of backed away from it after a while. And I was like, as I looked at some of the movies we gave, I've given A's to in the past, and where I thought that movie fell, I was like, no, it's a B+. American Nightmare also gave it a B+. See, that's why you my guy, bro. Luna gave it an A-. She said it's a weak A, but it's still an A. Yeah. And I'm not mad at that. I think I gave an A- to like I Killed Giants or Atomic Blonde, and I feel like Atomic Blonde might be a hair above Kick-Ass. But then again, that's one of those things that it really boils down to preference, because I think you could make an argument for all those movies because they all kind of exist right in that same space. Let's see what else we got. Luna, let's see, Mike A. Okay, all right, we got you. Let's see what else. American Nightmare says cancel Ryan Palmer. They mad that you gave Kick-Ass a C.
Damn.
Oh, no. Sorry, man. Well, the only reason why I gave it a C is because there are a lot of films that were not on this list, comic book films that were way above these. And then there are animated films I enjoy above these. There's lots of people who celebrate the live action, and like my favorite Batman story of all time is Under the Red Hood. And that's an animated film. Yeah. That's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
DiMaggio did the voice for Joker. He's the guy who does the dog from Adventure Time, Jake, and he's the voice of Bender from Futurama. Absolutely beautiful voice and beautiful film, but that was a beautifully written story. That's my favorite Batman story of all time. So there were a lot of comic book films. If I count animated film. I'm sorry, you have to,
on our list. We
count
also have this year. Matter of fact, this year, Monty and I have reviewed. After we add these movies to the list, we have watched and reviewed 95 comic book movies this year.
Yes, a fuck ton of movies.
Yeah, we have done 95 comic book movies this year.
Yeah.
And in
a year, not in a lifetime, in a year.
In a year.
That's just what we watched in 20.
That means we watch them, because our thing is we watch these movies before we review them.
And so, ultimately, like, everybody has to realize that these opinions that we have for these films are based on our personal favorites of comic book films of all time.
Yeah.
Is what that's what my grades were.
All right.
Based on, not on the 5 that were chosen by the but just rated of all time.
Yeah.
I thought that was a given. That's what we're doing. Right?
But that being said, I'm all set up. I got all the shit fixed. So let's move into the next segment of the show so we can hit the next movie. So let's see if there's any important shit.
Yeah, let's see if anybody.
We have a
now that we've done the shit we don't care about, Monty, go ahead and do important shit.
There we go.
All right, load it.
Hannibal and Monty's Action News with L. Damon on sports. Heath, the man on the street. Meteorologist, scientist Mel on weather. And Hannibal and Monty's Action News anchors, Hannibal and Monty. And now, here's lead anchor Monty with Monty's important shit.
There we go.
Yes.
Important shit. Yes. Let me get my tie straight. There we go. All right. Awesome.
But the screen's not moving on my end, Monty.
Oh, it's not moving because there you go. It's moving now.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh man, that looks beautiful.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, you motherfucker, you. Okay, I like that. I like that. That is. Oh shit. Okay. Shout out to Monty. Okay, look, I know I give Monty a lot of shit, and I joke, I kid, but that shit looks amazing. All right, like the Scott Pilgrim background, with the lightning bolts and shit, with the fucking that. Okay, you know what, Monty? I give credit. That aesthetic is fantastic.
Thank you.
Also, I'm laughing at the chat of everybody saying we need to cancel Ryan Palmer.
Ryan's good people.
That's hilarious. That's funny as hell. And somebody asked, Destruction Inc. said, when are you guys going to review The Mask? We already reviewed The Mask, actually.
Yes.
We reviewed The Mask back in April, I believe, when we did an episode about superhero origin stories, and The Mask was one of the movies that we reviewed. Yep. I had the unpopular opinion, and Monty is going to challenge me to go watch it again.
I am. That's coming next year. We're going to talk about the challenges and how the comic book movie lists are going to work moving forward. We haven't quite gotten there yet. We're still working out details on that, but challenges will be a thing. Mm-hmm. So there we go. Wait, I'm making sure I have my shit in order. Yes, and that one shouldn't be there, but I'll skip it. There we go. Perfect. All right, that'll work. Awesome. So this is important shit, and as all the other segments went on this show, this segment is all about random facts about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the movie. And just like I always do on important shit. And how many plunger points do you want to give this time, Hannibal? What do you think?
How much money do we have so far? 100. What does that say? Towards our stream goal.
Wait, I can see it here better. It's 101.50.
101.50?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that number times 4.
All right. So 404, 56, 406. There we go. Did I do the math right? Am I correct?
I don't think so, but I got it. 406. Yep, you got it. You were right.
See?
Your math was right.
See? I'm not drunk. I had one drink this entire show. Come on. One.
That's perfect. That makes one of us.
Yes.
So the way it works, and because I want to do this a certain way this time, because the longer we take doing this segment, the more time they have to Google this shit.
Yes.
So, and because some of you guys, Mike, wherever he is in the chat, he's a goddamn Google ninja.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is, hold on, I'm creating it right now. Monty's gonna read these stories. You guys have to guess. Like 3 of them are real, 1 of them is fake.
Yep.
It's all about Scott Pilgrim versus the world, and we're gonna give you guys a chance to see if you can figure it out. Hold on, let me get my timer ready, Monty.
Get your timer.
Because I don't want to give them a whole lot of time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go quick through them.
Timer. Okay, bet. All right. Go ahead and read the stories. I'm ready. Go.
All right. So, I'll go with the first one. In the bass battle scene, for anybody that's seen this movie, the scene where Scott's playing the bass against Superman, Brandon Routh. There's as he's playing, it's doom 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 doom. It's D D D D D. He's actually playing a B. So, there's that story. So let me know if this is all facts about the movie. Y'all let me know which one's fake.
Okay. All right. What's the next one?
So the next one is that one I'm skipping. There we go. All of Chris Evans' stunt doubles as Lucas Lee were actually Chris Evans stunt doubles. And the other one is the 8-bit. Yeah, the 8-bit Universal logo used at the beginning of the movie was originally made to be for a remake of the Super Mario Brothers movie that that Universal was planning on putting out. And the other one is when Scott opens the door to get the package from Ramona, when he throws it over his shoulder, it took like 30 takes for them to get that right. That was all one take, him throwing it over his shoulder and it landing in the trash can. That's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wait, what was the last one?
It was Scott had to throw the package over his shoulder. Michael Cera threw the package like 30 times in order to get that one take, throwing it over his shoulder and landing in the trash can.
All right, so one of those 4 stories, I'm starting the timer now. All right, so Monty, just real quick, go through all the stories again.
All right, so in reverse order. Michael Cera throwing the package over his shoulder took like 30 times for them to get that shot.
You can't do it in reverse order. It's going to throw everybody off on the numbers.
All right, well, I'll go with from 1 to 2. In the bass battle, number 1, the bass battle. It says D, 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 but he was playing a B. And I have to scroll through the list, trying to make it quick. Yes, wait.
Chris Evans stunt doubles.
Yes, that was the next one? Yeah. Chris Evans stunt doubles Lucas Lee's stunt doubles were actually all of Chris Evans stunt doubles. The Universal logo was originally made to be for a Super Mario movie remake. And Scott Pilgrim with the package, he threw it 30 times.
All right. One of those stories is, wait a minute, wait for it. All right,
there we
go. So that concludes it. So everybody, go ahead and give us your votes right now. If you get it right, you get 406 plunger points. If you get it wrong, then you don't get any plunger points.
Yes.
So I need to see. I don't see a whole lot of votes coming in right now, so I'm giving everybody a chance. I'm giving you guys a little bit more time than I should right now.
Yeah. See.
So yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 says they also used the Legend of Zelda song in the movie, and you know what? They had to pay out the ass to get that shit cleared.
They did. That is also a thing I learned about this movie.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
All right, so I'm giving them.
I like that.
Numbers. Oh no, go ahead,
Someone
Ryan
who
Palmer.
knows
Oh
their-
wow.
No, I was just gonna say that's someone who knows their shit about the fucking film. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Monty, go ahead and start reading them off. Let us know. Let the people know. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Which of these facts is true? Which of these facts is false?
Wow, this might be a first. I'm looking at the chat, and I'm stopping at someone with saying one is fake. And I'm going to say I think we might have set a record. That's the last vote I'm taking. Someone's with one is fake.
Yeah, and go ahead and vote, guys. And also, just to note that Monty here with this visual in behind, that's some trippy shit. It's like you're part of the band.
Yes.
It's like you're part of the band. Look at that.
It's like you're the lead singer.
Like he's a part of the band, and then he's coming out. He's on the couch.
Denial. There we go. See,
Look at how it moves. Look, it's like he's part of the band. Now, hey, it's moving back, and it's like he's part of the dudes chilling on the couch in the background.
Yeah.
And then he moves in, and then he's part of the band again.
Yeah.
And there's lightning bolts around his head and stuff.
But what I was gonna say is, this is the first time I only saw one person get the shit right in the chat. Number one is actually real. In the base battle scene, the graphics at the beginning say Scott's playing the note D. In actuality, he's playing a B. And then story number 2, the stunt doubles of Lucas Lee are the actual stunt doubles for actor Chris Evans. Only a quarter of the doubles resemble Chris Evans.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. So the next two, and it's funny because I had no idea all of these. You're such a fantastic liar that I just like that I had no clue which of these stories is the fake one. So it's either the 8-bit logo created at the beginning of the movie was for the Mario Brothers remake, or the Scott Pilgrim Michael Cera throwing the package over his shoulder 30 times. One of those is fake, and one of those is true.
Yes.
So Monty, which one of those is the true story?
All right. So which one is the true story? Well, I'll read this one. It says, when Scott opens the door to receive his package, Michael Cera actually did throw the package over his shoulder into a bin after 30-odd takes, most of which were seen on the outtakes of the DVD. However, the signature shown on the screen was a visual effect superimposed onto the paper. So there you go. And for the logo, the 8-bit Universal logo at the beginning of the film was Edgar Wright's idea. It was then designed by his brother Oscar Wright, the concept designer and storyboard artist on the film. The logo seen in the final film was actually only a first draft. It was not yet considered finished. When a test screening began, the audience reacted so positively that they decided no further work needed to be done. So that was the fake one. It was not for Super Mario Brothers.
Wow. Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. So there you go. I was like, that's an interesting fact. Let me just change the story behind it so we can talk about that. So
you see what level of lying he goes to? This dude is a black belt of lying, okay?
So there you go.
A black ass belt in lying.
Yes. So
all right,
there you go. And I saw Kilo, and I'm wondering, like, I saw Who's Your Buddy chimed in right when, and I know there was a delay when I said it, so I'm wondering if we should give it to Who's Your Buddy, because he said
I was already writing it down for Who's Your Buddy.
Yeah.
So.
I write it down for him. Like, we'll give it to you because there's a delay, and I know you probably came in late on it. So, because I was talking when you typed it. So.
Interesting. Now, that being said, who goes first on Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
You do. It's your turn.
Oh, okay. So, great. I get to go first on this one?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Scott Pilgrim versus the World is one of my 5 favorite comic book movies of all time. And when Monty and I first decided to start doing the Ultimate Comic Book Movie List, we ran into a little bit of a concern with this one because it's not technically based on a comic book or graphic novel. It's technically based on an American manga. So the question was, will we include manga into the comic book movie list? And we discussed it for a long ass time, and I've always deferred to Monty's wisdom on this because at the end of the day, you know, I visit comic books. Okay, Monty lives on that side of town. All right, so if he says then yes, then the answer is yes. If he says no, then the answer is no. Monty, and when we talked about doing this movie and Scott Pilgrim was super high on the list, Monty was like, I want to talk about this fucking movie. So fuck it, we're adding mangas to the list. And there it is. That being said, I love this movie. Everything about this movie is incredible. I saw this movie.
So this was the film that turned it. That was what added that to the absolutely.
When I went to the movies one day and I wanted to see something. I don't remember what I wanted to see, but whatever it was like, oh, I had to wait like another 2 hours to go see. I had to wait like 4 hours to go see the damn movie. So I was like, well, I need to go see something else. What am I going to go see? So I was like, all right, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Michael Cera's funny. You know, the trailers look kind of goofy, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go check it out. And I walked into the movie, and within the first minute the movie was on, I was already in love with that movie. I thought that shit was incredible. Everything about it, like that movie is a sensory overload, not just with what they do with the visuals, but how they attack you with jokes. Because the humor in that joke comes at you so fast.
Yeah.
Right? And the way they kind of use the video game aesthetic, I love that it's shot in Toronto. Look, I could go on and on about why this movie is incredible, but there's another thing I can tell you. Damn it, Monty, fuck me up. I could go on and on about why this movie is amazing and tell you guys.
Incredible.
Oh, god damn it. But the best way for me to tell you guys how amazing this movie is oh, god damn it, is to just give it an A+. I love this movie. I love Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I can respect
the fight scenes in this movie are incredible. The way the story plays out, the way they throw the gags at you, it's so much shit happens. Like, there's one of my favorite scenes, and it's so innocuous the way it plays out, is he goes to a party, like his band goes to a party, Sex Bomb goes to a party, and there's this dude there named Como, and it's like, oh yeah, you need to go talk to Como. He knows everybody. And then he goes and talks to Como, and then on the screen it just says Como, and then under it just says he knows everybody. That's all it is, and it's hilarious. And then Michael Cera has this stick figure picture. He's like, hey, do you know this girl? And it's drawn as a stick figure.
Yeah.
And Como was like, oh yeah, that's Ramona Flowers.
Yeah, you know something funny about that scene? He was originally supposed to be holding a picture of Ramona from the comic book, but they thought it was funnier if it was this loose, stupid sketch. And he's like, oh, that's Ramona.
Yeah, I love it. And everything about the way this movie just comes at. And I've had a couple people see this movie and be like, yeah, I don't get it. You know, and I had a customer recently. I dropped him off. And I was telling him that I had a podcast. He was asking what the show's about. And I told him that the episode we were doing today was going to be about us adding to the Ultimate Comic Book Movie List. I told him how we watched 95 comic book movies this year and put them in this list. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to do something in a second. But I'm going to wait a second to do it. Well, you guys can win a shit ton of plunger points. And I told him that we were going to be watching these movies. I told him we were going to be reviewing Watchmen, Logan, the Rocketeer, Kick-Ass, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And as soon as I mentioned that we were talking about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, like, he had a negative reaction to it almost instantaneously. You know, this is another one of those movies that a lot of comic book heads have mixed feelings about. But I'm just going to go ahead and say y'all are wrong. This movie's awesome. And that's it.
There we go. All right. Well, I'll follow behind now.
That's my 3 minutes.
There we go. I know. Like, you took your 3 minutes and didn't let me know you were taking them. So I'll be quick with it. And well, I'll be quick, but I have to say this about it first. I have to do something that I didn't expect to have to do, but y'all picked some good fucking movies. I gotta take a grade away from a movie to give this movie a grade. Like, so, and I thought long and hard about it. I have to remove my A+ from Atomic Blonde and give it to Scott Pilgrim.
Ooh.
So,
Monty.
Yes.
Monty.
Yes. So I'm out of A+. So this is where it goes. Scott Pilgrim wins at A+. Atomic Blonde is still fucking great, but in the reason I did it, as I told Hannibal earlier, I've seen that movie a bunch of times. I never fucking remember the movie. I watch it and
you talk about Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, Atomic Blonde. I see it and I'm like, oh, yes, this is awesome. Every time I see it. But I don't remember why it's awesome. This movie, scene for scene, I know it. I love it. This movie's perfect. And fun fact, I wanted to save it for this movie. And I love that these two are back to back and came out in the same year. Kick-Ass and Scott Pilgrim. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember this distinctly in the shop. When these movies came out, their respective comics were still ongoing, which means Scott Pilgrim had not actually finished, nor did Kick-Ass. Both of these comics were still ongoing. People were waiting for final issues to come out on these books. So, which I think is just a fun fact. It does not affect my grade, but it's just a fun fact about it. But yeah, I love this movie. Everything about it. And like the deeper meaning behind it, like Scott having to defeat the 7 evil exes, which is sort of symbolic of any relationship you get into, because whatever relationship you get into, you have to defeat the however many evil exes. Not physically, but, you know, it's the emotional battle you go through when you're dating someone. Like, that's what lies under this. That's the message that this puts out. And it does it in such a fun and clever way. It's fucking brilliant. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So, A+.
Incredible.
Yeah. Ryan Palmer?
Hey, I respect you guys' opinion. I know you guys love this movie. For me personally,
Ryan Palmer about to shit all on it.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna get my girlfriend to get the wet wipes. Hold on, maybe get the moist towelettes. Ryan Palmer about to shit on Scott Pilgrim.
I have to give it a little bit of a scrape, and the reason why is not because it wasn't a fun film and that it didn't have great humor in it and that it didn't do everything that you guys said it did. It was the fact that there was nothing really in it profound for me. Like, everybody has personal taste. Yeah. And that doesn't mean this is a bad film. My personal taste, I like to find something profound in it that I can contemplate later. And everything in this film was just face value. Like, as far as you take an early love story, you take a superhero story, you take and it goes in and you got a band and everything's just face value. And a lot of my favorite films, my very absolute top comic book films, are things that I personally contemplate the values in it and the morals in it and those things. And so this film didn't do that for me. I can't say that I could shit on it, but because it was visually very well done. There was a lot of the CGI was awesome in this film, and I love the actor, and I love everything that he's done. You know, it's not a knock on him, but it just wasn't a film for me, so I gotta give it a C+. I do, and I know that's gonna hurt you guys. It's gonna be in the gut. But yeah, it wasn't my kind of film, man.
All right.
I'm sorry, man. It wasn't my kind of comic book film.
But that's all right. But even still, like, where it goes, like, based on like all the everything that's happening, how he's got to defeat the 7 evil exes, and then he loses a life when he finds the power of love, because it makes the point that no, that's not what the fuck this is all about. when
But
he
it
uses that
started
extra life and he
cliche.
comes back and he gains the power of self-respect and that's how he wins.
How many
That's what
times
the
have
movie's
you
about.
How many times have you seen the lead girl skate in on rollerblades into the main character's life? I mean, that happens. They skate in. They may not be on rollerblades. It might be on another vessel. You know what I mean? But you take the same premise and you bring that, and then.
But that was the
it's
point
just,
of it.
You know, that it was so cliche that it was awesome.
Yes.
When
Everything
maybe-
about this
but-
movie played cliches.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it just didn't hit the note for me. I'm sorry, man.
All right, fair enough.
Sorry,
fair
did,
enough.
no. What, did I disappoint you?
No, it's all right. Look, we're comic nerds. We're here to argue.
I can't wait.
So.
I can't wait for the next film. I know what you guys are. You know,
all right.
Get some.
And look, just so you know, the chat is like Mike gave Scott Pilgrim an A. Kilo gave it an A+. Ecstasy Bell gave it an A+. Who's Your Buddy gave it an A. Vlad Tape said Watchmen is probably one of my favorite comic book movies ever made. Yeah, it's my second favorite actually.
There you go.
I think Watchmen is fucking incredible. Atomic Blonde was awesome. Blah, blah, it's good. I think that's it. I think those are all the grades we got. Oh wait, I think somebody gave it a C-. Wait a minute, where was it? I think I just.
He's on the show.
Here we go. He said, I have to go to sleep. I'll finish the episode. Kick ass gets an A-.
Thing I ever saw.
He said,
After it diminished.
No.
After.
You stick to your guns.
Luna gave it a B+. American Nightmare gave it an A+. Vlad gave it an A. Kilo says Scott Pilgrim is like 40% symbolism.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking that movie is incredible, man.
Yep.
I love that movie. And look, Edgar Wright is one of those directors that's like, and I didn't recognize it when I saw Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz, but he's one of those directors that like when he steps to the plate, he knocks it out the fucking park. He's the guy you want writing around your source material.
How many A+ did you get? 3? You guys got 3 A+?
So the way it works is you're only allowed to give A+ to 10% of the movies that we
have to say, like,
so like Monty and I are like at this stage we're allowed 9 A+.
Yeah.
And
Batman
coming into the show, Monty had already given out 8 A+.
Yeah.
And I had given out 6 A+.
Yeah.
I just talked about 2 A+ for me was Dark Knight Returns and Under the Red Hood animated. But remember, Will, when we were talking about comic book films, remember the Batman film we were talking about that was animated that had all the little shorts in it? And we were talking about it. It wasn't Year One. What was it?
No. It's called, 'cause we reviewed that.
Gotham Knight.
Gotham Knight. Yeah, that was beautiful. You and I were talking about that person we saw. We analyzed it together on the phone. Remember?
Yeah.
We were talking. Oh man, that was the artwork for it, and and just the vision to take Batman into those. Oh, beautiful. There's a lot of artistic.
Yeah.
That I look at it as works of art, like films and works of art.
Oh yeah.
It's vision. Yeah, and so there's a lot of things.
You know what? And
so that's what I base it on. People might think it's harsh, like fucking cracking on Scott Pilgrim. He's such a nice guy. Why? How could you do that, Palmer? You fucking bastard.
This is actually a great segue, Ryan Palmer, because we reviewed that movie on our list. We reviewed Gotham Knight earlier this year on one of our lists, a couple months ago. And on our list goes from 1 to 68. I know you guys are like, well, you just said you reviewed 95 movies. Why does it go to 1 to 68? Because we got a lot of movies that got the same grade. So
you guys were right in reviewing that, because honestly, I remember when we were talking about, I couldn't remember the name of the film, but we were talking about the segments of it, and like especially that segment with like Batman fighting Killer Croc in the fucking sewer. Are you kidding me? That was fucking horrific. While he was under the effects of the fear gas. While he was fighting, oh man!
So if
beautiful
you had to
fucking
guess,
premise.
If you had to guess, Ryan Palmer, on from 1 to 68 on our list, where do you think Batman Gotham Knight fell on our list?
Oh Jesus, that's got to be way high up. That was a very creative version of Batman, something that you wouldn't get from the mainstream fucking iterations of Batman. The stuff that's their cash cow stories. They're trying to make money
All
out of
right.
it. It's just like this experimental story grouping of people. Just take a creative vision, go for it. Take a bunch of creative people and do some shorts and do it. And they were beautiful. It just like expanded what Batman could be.
All right.
How could you not love that? It had to be high up on the list. I couldn't put it on a number just now because it's such a broad spectrum, but it would be very high up on my list.
Okay, this will be interesting. So I got a game I want to play right at the end of the show.
All right,
and we're right at the finish line. So let's go ahead to the next one, so we can go ahead and talk about Logan. Go ahead, Monty.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's get into the last segment of the show, which is one of my favorite segments.
Let's do it.
Let's do check this shit out.
Hannibal and Monty's Shit Show presents. Check that shit out.
What is that?
I didn't know they made them like that.
I don't even understand what I'm seeing.
Remember that shit I gave you last week, nigga? It's nothing, nigga. It's nothing. It's nothing, nigga. Nigga, it's nothing. This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here, nigga. Right here, this shit, nigga. This shit here, nigga.
Check this shit out.
Name is Chris the Corner Gunner like, nigga.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters. Today we're going to look a little bit at Hugh Jackman. Known for roles like that in X-Men, where interestingly he throws up the sign of Osiris risen. I call this the tongue of Kali. Kali in Hinduism is a demon goddess. So here is Mr. Jackman covering up his eye, as they all do. Horus. Wonder Woman, ring a bell? Panther? Malcolm X, even. Who in his famous portrait is doing the Mark Master degree sign of a Freemason. Anyway, here's Hugh Jackman. And if he were an occultist, this wouldn't just be a character. But again, it would be Osiris risen. Freemasons do this, as do members of Crowley's OTO. This is a potential sign of monarch program, what you would call beta sex kitten program.
Monty, what the hell you got us watching?
He is doing
What is this shit?
sign of the
This is
master of the
crazy
second
shit.
beta.
It's not Mag.
The
Come
hidden
on.
hand of a free.
It's the hidden hand. Look. I'm gonna do it too. I want to be.
And finally, we
There we
conclude
go.
with what every gaslighter,
Oh, look at that
every
guy. He's a
debunker
beautiful man.
likes to call the AOK symbol. Or if that's not what they say, it's a symbol of the alt-right. But when you suggest that it's a 666 that they throw up.
Uh-oh.
Look at that guy. It's a beautiful Australian man right there. Giving the
To
okay.
anyone who watched today's video, God bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Have a blessed day.
There you go. So Hannibal, you drinking the Kool-Aid? Hugh Jackman.
Is there such thing as the Australian Illuminati? Is that a thing? Does every country have its own Illuminati that they go to? I want to know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It's almost like with Conor McGregor, like the Irish mafia is going to kill him. Like there's almost like an Australian mafia, or like every animal that lives on that fucking continent trying to kill him.
Hell yeah. Oh wait, and also Monty, just look at this amazing setup to check this shit out right now. If Monty can stay in the box for just a second, back up just a little bit.
There we go.
Now look over at me, Monty.
There we go. What's
Little
up?
Richie.
There you
Hey,
go.
Monty.
What's up, Hannibal? How's it going?
Hey.
I gotta keep
Oh,
my hands
shit.
there. There we go.
Hey, you know,
See? That's awesome.
and then I look up and I see Ryan Palmer.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
Ryan Palmer?
And I gotta
Hey,
look.
how's it
I gotta
going
look
down
right
there,
there.
man?
There's Ryan.
There you go.
Yeah. See, I got a few things to tweak. This is my first time trying this new setup out. I gotta put the chat somewhere else. I told Zoe to put it there earlier. I don't know if it works there. So I'll figure out where the chat goes.
Right on Hugh Jackman's eye. I mean, where else should it be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and this brings us to the end of the show. We get a chance to talk about a movie that I love. Let's talk about Logan.
Oh yeah, let's get into Logan. Here we go.
Who goes first? Oh, also, real we didn't do this last time. What were Doug's grades on Scott Pilgrim?
Doug's grades on Scott Pilgrim were where did that? Oh, there's his grade sheet. Scott Pilgrim. Doug said he gave it an A-, and he said almost perfect. Not a perfect adaptation. He ends up with knives. Yeah, he does end up with knives in the comic. Yes. Dark Scott is a disappointment. Michael Cera is great, but undercuts Scott's coolness, comparable to the Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. Very generational was number 3. So there you go. That's what Doug said about that.
Okay.
I stole $3,000.
Yes.
And I'll get to Dildor. I will get to that in a second. What was Doug's notes about Logan? Let's just go ahead and get that out the way now.
Oh, Doug gave Logan an A+, and
Look
his
at Doug.
his
All
reasons
right.
are 1, the performances, 2, the direction, 3, improved original, and 4, perfect send-off, and 5, stands alone.
Okay.
So there you go.
Ryan Palmer, what say you, sir? What'd you think about Logan?
Oh man, I'm really excited about talking about this film.
And
It's
everybody
not
in the
because
chat,
it's,
let us know what you thought about Logan as well. Go ahead, Ryan Palmer.
I respect everybody's opinions in the chat. That was really good. It is a very good comic book film. Okay, and Hugh Jackman is perfectly cast for this film. Like I've said before. Okay, and also I wanted to say this is my wife's favorite superhero.
Okay.
Wolverine is absolutely my wife's
Wolverine
favorite.
or Hugh Jackman?
Wolverine is my wife's favorite.
Okay.
Superhero.
Okay.
Before, and then Hugh Jackman, and she agrees with me, he's a perfect casting for the role. Okay, coming up through all the X-Men, and all led up to this Logan film, right? And they did a rated R film, and it's very good. Okay, and the only problem that I have with this film, I have to say, is something that nobody's talked about, is that why the adamantium poisoning? If you have, they put steel in human beings' bodies today, and that shit holds up until they put you in the fucking grave. Why would adamantium, a superior alloy, poison a man in his later age, especially someone with mutant healing? That didn't make sense to me. But they had to have something for a premise of the story, and that was a comic book story, and that's what led into it. And that's how we got Old Man Logan limping. That's how we got him hurt from the very beginning and having a struggle that we could relate with a character that we love. So I can respect that they put that into it, but for me, loving the character, it didn't feel realistic. But as a film, as a whole, it was an awesome film. It was a beautiful film. It was relatable. You got him as a real person on the road. It wasn't just a rated R film. It was he was relatable while he was on the road, even though he was something that we couldn't be. You know what I mean? He was real. He was like, it was Old Man Logan. He'd had enough. He'd seen a lot of shit. He'd seen all the shit that we saw him go through in the comic book films, and he'd had enough of it, and he was hurt, and he would go through it. And then there was also the ending. It was a big fucking hurt. Obviously, spoilers aren't a problem at this point.
No.
It was a big hurt to see him go down like that to the fucking generic fucking clone of himself. It's like, holy fuck, man. But That was the story. But overall, it was very entertaining right to the very end. I'm not gonna fucking front. I took my fucking, I took my 8-year-old to it. He wanted to go to the film. He loved Wolverine too, just like his mom and me. We took him in. We fucking got him in, rated our film. Fucking brought him in. He fell asleep at the end. We watched it. Yeah, he did. He fell asleep at the very end. At the end of the movie, and we brought him out, but we saw it through to the very end, and it was great all the way through. So I got to give it a solid A- because of the 2 points that I gave that I didn't care for in the story premise, but very entertaining film. Very entertaining film. A lot of fun. The dialogue was great in it. The script was very good. Having Hugh Jackman with his the script was, and the acting lines were very well delivered and everything. So that's how I feel about it. I was very excited about this film going in. It's probably the most excited about it. I'll give my opinion because I felt for it. It was a great movie.
All right.
Cool.
All right. What about you, Hannibal? What'd you give it?
In my head, and I think no. Let me start this. Let me start that again. Let me start this over. You can make a very strong argument that Logan is one of the 10 greatest comic book films ever made to date. To date, you could make the argument that it has a place on that list. This movie is phenomenal the way it's told. The old man Logan story. This movie is a Western. You're watching the old gunslinger who's done everything there is to do, and his body is worn out and it's failing him. It's like watching the wrestler with Mickey Rourke. It's like you're watching him get old and he's too old to do anything, and he's got one more job to do, and they made it look, it's sad and it's dark and it's bloody and it's just, and you don't want to watch him die, and that's what makes it awesome. I love that the guy who directed this movie is the same guy who directed Walk the Line, and he's the same guy who directed The Wolverine. When he did The Wolverine, he basically had this idea to tell this story, and Fox basically was like, no, we're not going to let you tell this story because you want to make it all graphic and violent and bloody and this and that, and we need to be able to sell Happy Meals. And he was like, fuck y'all, fuck selling Happy Meals. Like, let me tell the story I want to fucking tell. And after the success of Deadpool, they allowed him to make this movie. And I am so glad that they allowed this movie to come out. Because, and this is the thing that people don't understand, if Ryan Reynolds didn't fight so hard to make Deadpool come out, we would have never gotten Logan. And if Logan would have never came out, we would have never got the Joker.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, the rated R movies, you're right. And
yeah,
I respect you for mentioning Mickey Rourke as well. In The Wrestler, you were like him in the bathroom scene. And so I just want to say that, like, the ultimate victory. I liked Mickey Rourke in Iron Man 2. I thought he was very good. And people argue about what Iron Man and his portrayal and stuff. I thought that was a great fucking story.
You know what people's issues were with Iron Man 2 is that Iron Man 2 wasn't as good as Iron Man 1. That's the issue. It's the same reason that people don't like Age of Ultron. It's not that Age of Ultron isn't good. It's that Avengers was Avengers.
Yeah,
that's popular opinion, but I liked Iron Man 2 better. I liked after the story was established, and I liked Mickey Rourke as a villain, and I liked they brought Whiplash in. I thought he was great as Whiplash. Yeah. I love that story. That was an amazing story, especially when fucking Iron Man goes into the jail to talk to Whiplash and talks to him about it, and they're conversing and they're busting balls against each other on the tech for the arc reactor. It's like, that was great, man. That was a great setup, beautifully executed film.
Also, Ecstasy Bell just pointed out to me that Watchmen was rated R, and so was Blade. And you know what? It absolutely was. It's a comic book movie that's rated R. But here's the pen that I put in that. The difference, not the pen. Here's the difference in Deadpool and Logan. is that Deadpool and Logan are very popular, very familiar characters. Like, so the Watchmen can exist in its own space by itself, right? So it's not like people are like if Superman is flying around with his dick out, then it's like, oh, people gonna be like, oh, I can't believe you did that with the Superman character. That's why, like, did you see how people freaked out in Man of Steel when Superman breaks General Zod's neck? Like, they literally like people disliked that movie because Superman killed somebody at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's a difference when you do it with certain characters. And it's like with a character like Logan, with like Wolverine, for him to be the character that he is and get a rated R movie, and then they made it a rated R Western. You know what I'm saying? They made a rated R drama. Like, one of the great travesties that's happened in the history of film and cinema is that Hugh Jackman didn't get nominated for Best Actor for his performance in this movie. This movie is incredible. Patrick Stewart is amazing. I love the way this film played out. I literally have nothing bad I can say about this. This movie is getting my very last available A+.
Okay. All right.
And that's what I got to say.
Well,
Logan,
I will say
I love Logan.
All right. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I fucking love this movie too. It gets an A from me. And
you ain't got no more A+.
No, I actually have a reason. Like, I thought about it. I was going to take an A+ from something else, but I thought about it, and the reason I, even when I have more A+, won't give it one of my A+. Not that it's not good. This movie's great, but I think this movie's great because I know Wolverine. I know the X-Men. I think it relies heavily on that for its elevated greatness.
Okay.
It relies heavily on that. You need to be invested in knowing who Professor Xavier is, who Wolverine is. Why is he old? What did he do? What is his last job? What were his first jobs? If you don't know, this is still a great movie, which is why it gets an A. But that elevated A, that gives it the, I came a little when I saw this, comes from familiarity with the character.
So I agree with you, but I'm going to challenge your assessment.
All right.
Because you gave 3 of the 4 Avengers movies A+.
Yeah.
And that same statement could definitely be true about Infinity War and Endgame.
I think those movies work on their own. If you
So
watch...
actually,
actually, those movies don't. You're right.
Yeah.
Those movies don't work.
And you know,
those
like,
movies work together. You can watch Infinity War and Endgame, and I believe that you can follow them and still love them. Those movies together as a unit.
No, there's too much callback to stuff that happened in other movies in Endgame.
But I think it's done in a way that all you need is those movies. I think
so. I can go. We can go ahead and dead this one right now. Like, there's like a lot of people that shit on Avengers Endgame online are people that only saw those 2 movies.
Look, I'm about to run this
I
experiment.
gotta say, the whole series, honestly, Civil War, as all of those movies, was probably the best of the bunch, and I was very excited to see Spider-Man in that mix, and that end battle was probably the best for me.
There's
but
fan
I gotta
service.
say, like. Yeah. And then after that, I wasn't interested in Ultron. I'm sorry, I didn't like that movie. And then obviously Thanos was the best of the final 2 of Marvel's big show. I think that Thanos was the best character of that bunch.
Yeah, and look,
even though I love the heroes, it's not because I'm a villain lover. It's just because the way they developed him, just to see how that conflict developed, he was the central focus of the end game. Yeah. And that was what I loved about it. It was what my kids are not geniuses. They just learn and they don't know shit. You know what I mean? And they went into the movie, and that was the part that they even identified at. And I was like, "Jeez, man, yeah, you guys are right." You know, that's the part, that ending that led into Endgame with Thanos and that whole entire conflict. And they even showed it. That was their focus because Thanos was killed, obviously, in Endgame, and then the earlier version of himself in the timeline saw it and recognized it and was able to evade that fate with his actions, and that's why he was able to fight off the Avengers.
Well, what I was the thing I was trying to get to with Montel was that and I don't disagree with anything you said about Logan, but I think that if that's your reason for not giving it an A+, there's other movies you gave A+, like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse exists because of the other Spider-Man movies that came before it.
Yeah, but I think people can watch that movie and still enjoy it for what it is without knowing that. This leans more heavily onto, like, it's an old dude that shakes the room. That's who Professor Xavier is in this. That's his power. He shakes the room.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, just to know
who the fuck is that?
Pluses are probably. Well, you have to know my 3 A+ and why I love them, and I don't want to take a bunch of you guys' time, but you know how I feel about my greatest Batman story ever is Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood, yep.
It was so good, just the way that it was written and the emotional side behind the Batman and seeing the shock of seeing Robin killed, Dan's a Joker, and the voice lines of the Joker. You know, people talk about, Heath Ledger's Joker. People talk about Jack Nicholson's Joker, and they were all I love all of those iterations of Joker, all of them. But DiMaggio did an amazing job with the voice there on Joker. I love that character. So good. Such a great story, and the ending was so good. It just had to give you that chill. And then another one, things that are A+ is like Heath Ledger's Joker, the Dark Knight, and with Christian Bale's Batman. I love that. I wasn't a big fan of the first of Nolan's trilogy. I wasn't a big fan of the first and the third. The second one I saw 3 times in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to see it multiple times. Like other comic book films that were great. Honestly, like Jack Nicholson is the Joker, and Michael Keaton as Batman was my first superhero movie ever in the theater as a kid. Was a beautiful film. I love that. Maybe it doesn't hold up today to these standards, but I love that film. That was on, Burton's iteration of Batman. It's something that you can contemplate after. It has to have that feel. That's why Deadpool doesn't make that list. He's obviously a lot of fun. He's entertaining. I love the Deadpool films. Don't get me wrong; those are rated R films. Those are in the same genre as this Logan film, and the rated R films that'll come after this new Joker film was beautiful too. I love that. I could talk about that all day too. But Deadpool is a different beast. You know what I mean? It's more about the rated R in it. Is the gore is not emotional. The gore is almost laughable. It's more about the punchline than it is about. It is a different film, and I liked it. It was entertaining for what it was. Those are great films, well done films. But those are on the same lines as why. Obviously why Wolverine was so popular, because Hugh Jackman was very well cast, and also Ryan Reynolds is very well cast. That's why Deadpool movies are. Anybody else in that role, that those films wouldn't have fucking blown up like they were. Now, who could you put in that? I mean, he was built for that role. It's almost like he was the perfect casting. That's what made. That's what made that film. Yeah. I think for me, anyway, that's what made it for me. With Ryan Reynolds is a hilarious guy, so funny, and his comedic timing, his acting in that role, and he enjoys. I think it's because he enjoys the role. He likes being, just like you guys said about Hugh Jackman. This film is so good, and the reason why you guys rated this film so well is because he became Wolverine.
There you go.
Maybe he wasn't that at the start, but he became it. And
I also think James Mangold just did an incredible job with the the material that he had. I think the way the story was written, I think the way it was acted, I think the way it was shot, it was just a fucking awesome film. And I would have loved to have seen some X-23 movies come out, but Disney ain't doing that. They're just not letting that shit happen at all, and that's unfortunate because I would have very much liked to have seen.
How do you feel about those iterations, though? They do those a lot. Like look at Iron Man. Now we have Riri Williams is like a female iteration of Iron Man, and then how far does it go? Like you can do a female version of a character, but where do you draw the line on? Is it something that needs to be done, or is it something that's being done just to try and
I'm glad you asked that question, and I think the answer is simple. Is it a good story?
Yep.
If it's a good story, then we let it run. If it's a bad story, and it doesn't matter if it's fan service, it doesn't matter if it was sponsored by McDonald's, none of that matters. Did you tell a good story? If you tell a good story, a good story is easy to sell. Yeah. And one of the metrics I've always used is and I know Monty and I don't always agree on this, if I always look like there's simple metrics. What did the critics think? What did the fans think? Did it make a lot of money? And if all three of those things line up, a lot of the times those end up being the more coveted films. That's why movies like Joker and Logan and Deadpool and the Avengers movies, that there's a reason that those movies stand, and the Dark Knight franchise, there's a reason that those stand at the top of the mountain. It's a combination of good storytelling, something that was easily digestible. A good story is easy to sell. A good story is easy to sell to some people. If you have a good story and it's got too many black women in it, then Monty might not like it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh,
what?
That's just no. I know you have a type, Monty.
Oh, is that where we're going?
Nowhere. I didn't.
Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
What?
I agree with you on that. You need to
wait. You agree?
No.
What the fuck, Ryan Palmer? You know what?
I'm just saying. It was just when Monty watched Black Panther when they was in Korea, he just fast forwarded past that whole scene.
Look, you know what? You know what? Hannibal and Ryan Palmer.
This was a shit show.
Y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking.
Sweet Halloween in Collard Green.